To say maybe it might have been that producer part, that new Facebook producer thing keeps going. But we
There
have,
you go. It says we're live now.
Streaming live on Facebook.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
That girl's gonna feel that later.
Yeah. See, because Facebook kept choosing that other producer for going live. There's two options. You could do that producer piece, or you can do the old style. I think we'll stick with just doing the old style instead of producer. That's for damn sure from now on.
There we go.
Why is my messenger still coming up on my stupid screen? See, I quit.
Oh, like somebody sent something on Messenger, pop up in the bottom of your corner.
Yeah. I'm like, quit Messenger. If I have to, I'll delete the damn thing. It's like, come on, man. I quit it like 3 times. All right. Well, why don't we get this show on the road? Ricky's a busy man. He's got lots of things to do, places to go, people to see out there.
I'm not about all that right now. Maybe about 2 months ago I was busy.
All right. Let's start back old school. It's we know age 6 years old, you got a set of boxing gloves and you started punching bags at age 6. Bryce wasn't even doing baseball yet. Age 6. What brought you into, was it love at first punching bag per se?
Nah, man, I live in a crazy household, man, and us Puerto Ricans, we love boxing and fighting. So my Uncle Freddie, my father, before he left my home when I was 8, they always have parties in the basement, and they always have punching bags in the basement, like boxing gloves. So I would go down there and navigate, through the crowd with the drinking, smoking, whatnot, and I would just go hit the punching bags. My cousins would come over, they put me in a fight against my cousins. My friends would come over, put me in a fight against my friends. And I was just fucking good at it, man. I was make them miss, matrix, then make them pay for it. Pop, 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 slick shit, And so it was the only thing that kind of made it feel like I was really good at it in my life. And it was like a meditative, so it was something for me to just get my mind clear. And it wasn't like because I was angry or because I wanted to hurt somebody or I just wanted to fight. It was just because I was just good at it. It was fun. It was very tactical. It's like playing chess, And as time went on, man, I've gone to all these little tournaments, PB fights, and started getting to Diamond Gloves, Golden Glove tournaments. And I'm winning all these tournaments and falling in love with boxing and the training aspect of it. And probably by the age of 13, 14, everybody kept on saying, mother and my people kept on saying, you should quick, attend more to school. And I just love boxing, and I stayed with it. And by 17 years old, everybody says it's just a phase you're going through in life. And by the 18, man, I turned pro and started traveling around the world and fighting on ESPN, HBO, NBC, CBS, and started making my way in the professional world of boxing.
Nice.
Sweet.
My question's a simple one, but who are some of your favorite fighters growing up though? Like, who did you try to model your game after?
Well, my favorite fighter of all time, still to this day, from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, Sugar Ray Robinson, hands down.
Yeah.
He was undefeated back in the 40s and 50s, 119 wins with 109 knockouts. Slick, sharp, explosive in both hands. He was the first one to ever come out with an entourage. So that's how they named the entourage. It was from Sugar Ray Robinson.
Oh,
came out
wow.
with- yeah, that's a fun fact right there. He was in Europe
Wow.
and he went to a circus and he said, "I'm going to incorporate some of these circus acts," and he bring them out on stage with them. And the first professional athlete ever to come out with an entourage. So they named the entourage after Sugar Ray Robinson. But he was a
Wow.
bad dude, man. So that's my favorite fighter. Also, like, of course, Mike Tyson, who's one of my good friends to this day. But I like Hector Macho Camacho, Southpaw, Puerto Rican Southpaw, sharp fighter, Miguel Cotto, Ivan Cotto, Sugar Ray Leonard, who's one of my good friends. I was just with him before all this pandemic happened. I was hanging out with him. Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, those are some of my fighters right there, man.
All right.
Who is your favorite trainer to work with?
My favorite trainer?
Yeah.
I had a couple of trainers. I had Freddie Roach, who trains Manny Pacquiao. Fun guy, good trainer. But just because one trainer is good, if he has a top professional star athlete like Manny Pacquiao, doesn't mean he's the best trainer for you in particular.
Right.
For me, I had a guy named Anthony Chill Wilson, little short guy, man. Little, but when I was living in Florida, Miami, he was my favorite trainer, man, because we had a lot of good time. He was just a slick fighter, mentally slick, sharp, and very tactical, and we vibed together very much. So, yeah, he was one of my favorite trainers.
Was he tough on you, or what? What?
He was tough, but not tough on me. Like, I'm not that type of guy that I need to be getting yelled at in front of other people in the gym, trying to embarrass me. I don't get down that way.
Right.
I respect, but I ain't gonna get yelled at by nobody. You know what I mean? In front of other people, like, come on, you gotta. I see trainers do it to other people and belittle them in front of other people. For me, that doesn't work for me.
Right.
What works for me is, being positive, but being loving and kind, and talking and walking through my mistakes, not yelling at me like scolding me like you're my mother or father.
Right.
So, me and Anthony Chill we just had a good, phenomenal relationship, as though me and Freddie Roach as well. But I always take when I make a mistake or I need to work on something, I take it to heart and I listen and I try to do what they tell me to do.
Mike, you're up, sir.
I might butcher this last name, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna say this right.
But
Feel bad. I do it all the time.
That's why.
Can you tell me a little about Freddie Barrio?
Oh, Freddie Barrios, yes. So, Freddie Barrios, man, that guy's saving grace in Lorain, Ohio, man. I'll tell you why. I've been knowing Freddie since I was 6 years old. When I was 6 years old, he used to have a boxing gym right there on 31st Street, by not too far from Oak Park, by Palm Avenue School. It was an old firehouse on the corner right there on 31st. I forgot the cross street. It was an old firehouse where the fire station used to be at South Lorain. And he took down to a boxing gym. So at 6 years old, I lived like 1 block away. I would walk, rain, snow, and I would walk to the boxing gym. And I was like the little mascot in the gym. I would go in there, Manuel Rodriguez be working out, Ruiz be working out, all these big guys and sharp fighters, and I used to look up to them. And I would go there. And Freddie kept that gym open. And after that gym, he opened up another gym. And he just kept on keeping the gym open. And when I was about maybe 14 years old, because I was training at Southerners Boxing Gym. on Pearl Avenue, where Mike's Roman store, you know, Romans, right there in the corner of Romans and on 29th and I'm sorry, on 30th and Pearl Avenue. That used to be called Southerners Boxing Gym. So when I left Southerners and went to Freddie's gym, Freddie would pick all the guys up in a brown van, all the you know, boxers, and drive us to the gym, work out, drive us back home and drop us off. And he's the one that kind of kept me alive, kept my boxing career alive. Because if it wasn't for Freddie, there was no other boxing gyms in Reno, Ohio. He put a lot of heart and effort to all the kids, man. And I stayed with it. I won, like I said, took me to all the tournaments. Even when I turned pro, Freddie stayed with me to about 3 or 4 fights until I ended up moving. So if it wasn't for Freddie Barriers, I don't know what I would have done with career-wise.
So you said at the age of 15, you fought in Cleveland Golden Glove tournaments, winning 3 titles. They had to make a news at school. The ultimate question: did anybody line up to fight you? Or anybody cool about it?
You know, that's a good question. And I had some trying times like that when people try to flex on me. See, I'm a quiet. I'm like everybody knows who I am. You know, I was that type of guy that always got along with everybody. I talk to everybody. I'm a people's person, and I never really walked around like, oh, I'm a fighter and like, you know, too much bravado. I never got down that way. I was kind of quiet, under the radar. But when I did get tested, people probably looked at me like, oh, he thinks a little pretty boy, little skinny cat. But one thing about me, I'm a quiet, but I'm deadly with you know, street fighting too. You know what I mean? I'm from South Lorraine, baby. You know, I don't let nobody grow up on me, try to hurt me. I don't care if you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years older than I am, bigger than I am. I always protected myself. And it's happened several times in school. And I'll mention this guy's name because he's in prison. I haven't talked to this guy since we were in high school. I don't know, Tyrone Benjamin, if you guys ever knew who Tyrone Benjamin was. He's about 3 years older than I was. Big muscle guy. Everybody was afraid of him. He was picking on some kids in lunch class, and I saw this every day because we had the same lunch period, and it was all the grades mixed together. And he kept on picking this one kid, and man, made this kid cry, and I couldn't take it no more. So I said, why don't you pick on somebody your own size? And he looked at me and he came to me and I just said, it was slow motion. I caught right in the jaw. And he fell down like a sack of potatoes. And I put my finger on him. I said, don't you ever mess around with other kids again. I got suspended, of course. And I never messed with that kid again. And I never saw the guy after that again. I think he ended up going to prison for whatever he went to prison for. But I don't play games. So, yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Which boxer was your hardest fight against?
I had a lot of hard fights, man. You know, Brahma Shah from Africa. I ended up losing to him. He was like 17-0. I was only 4 or 5-0 at the time. Mm-hmm. He was my first loss. They threw me in there too quick. I moved up a weight class, which I shouldn't have. I was in a lighter weight class, but mm-hmm. They wanted me to move up a weight class. You know, I was young. I was living in San Diego. I was training with Murph Griffith, who trained Ray Boom Boom Mancini. And it was, I had like 19 fights at the Great Western Forum in Los Angeles where the Lakers used to play before they moved to the Staples Center. And they had like big following live on TV on national television. But he was one of my toughest fights. He knocked me down twice. I got back up. Needless to say, I lost the fight. He was a really tough fight for me because, you know, I was too young. He had a lot of experience. But I learned a lot from that fight as well, you know? And
how long? Go ahead.
No, and of course, my buddy Nate Campbell. Nate Campbell's one of my good friends. He was a two-time world champion. And I ended up going. I was number one in the world at 140, and I was already losing like 20 pounds to get to 140. But I was number one in the world, not the United States, but the motherfucking world. I was number one. And so Nate Campbell was number one in the world at 135. And they offered me a lucrative fight with them to be fighting live on ESPN in Florida. And the winner between me and him was going to fight Juan Diaz, who was a unified lightweight champion of the world. He had all 4 titles. And so I said, I'm going to take the fight. We talked about together, me and him. We said, hey, we're friends, but this is business. And then I didn't talk to him after that. I went to hardcore training. I went to Puerto Rico to go train with some of the best trainers in the world. Unfortunately for me, I had to lose almost 30 pounds. I went down to 135. And I was already losing like 20, 25 pounds already to get down to 140. So I lost 30 pounds. So I couldn't lose the last 5 pounds the day of the weigh-in, which is the next day of the fight. So the weigh-ins right before the fight, day before the fight. I couldn't lose the weight. The doctors were going to cancel the fight. I didn't eat for like 3 days. So I was catabolic where my body was going to shutdown mode. But I ran with the plastic bag on. I don't know how I did it, man. I almost fainted. And but I made the weight. So the fight was for the most money I ever made in my life. And it was like a lot of money, close to $500,000. And I made that weight, man, because I want that money too, you know. And but unfortunately, because I had to lose so much weight, I wasn't feeling strong. I knew I was weak. I went in there and my game plan. I'm a slick boxer. I'm not like a Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson knockout puncher, one punch knockout puncher. I was just one of those guys, slick, made you miss, slick shit, and made you pay for it. And I beat most of those guys, the Mike Tyson knockout punchers, by my slickness. Well, the first 2 rounds I was really slick, and Nate Campbell's one of those Mike Tyson punchers. He'll knock you out on both hands, and he knocked most of his opponents out. And I was going to drown him in the later rounds. I out-slick him and drown him. It didn't happen that way for me. You know, after the second round, I almost had to quit the fight because I couldn't get up off my chair. And they picked me up, and I walked out there. I was standing toe-to-toe with this guy. He knocked me down twice. He couldn't knock me out. I got back up. So it was live on ESPN. I'm pounding my chest. You can't knock me out. Just trying to keep my mind together because I felt like I was going to get knocked out, to be honest with you. And but the fight went the distance, and I had to go to the hospital that night after the fight to make sure I'm okay. And which I was okay, thank God. But that was another hard fight for me because I could have beat him, but because of the weight loss, it took too much out of me. So those are probably the 2 most fights that were the most hardest fights for me, emotionally, mentally.
Go ahead, Clint.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Sure.
There, when trying to make the big fight happen, like Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, do you think that's more of the promoters and the promotion, or is that more of the fighters?
So what you're asking me is that to make those big fights, you think it's the promoter, either the promoters or the fighters? I think it's a combination of both. More so the promoters, you know, putting stuff together. The promoters making the fights happen and everything. Managers and promoters, definitely also the fighters. They're both phenomenal fighters. They're both undefeated at the time, and so that also plays in the cards. But having good people behind you, your promoter, your manager, put those fights together like that. Those are the ones that really put it together. Especially if you're winning all your fights, you're more acceptable to getting the big fights in that. You know, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that it does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
Now, when you're an amateur and a pro, it didn't seem like you fought the same guy twice. Was there any reason for it, or is that what the fighters were picked
I'm
to
sorry.
do?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
So it seemed like during the pro, when you're amateur and a pro, it seemed like you never boxed the same guy twice. Was there any reason why, or was that just how the fighters were picked for you?
No. You know what? Mostly you don't fight the same guy twice unless it's like a big lucrative fight,
Right.
where it's for a title or for a #1 spot or something like that. And if it's for a title, and let's say I beat John, and then John wants a rematch. See, I took his title from him, and he wants a rematch back. And if the fight was a really good fight, the public wants to see it, then we'll do a second time. So, but I've been very fortunate. I didn't have to fight nobody twice,
Right. Now, before you went pro, did you ever think, or did anybody ever approach you about maybe boxing in the Olympics?
You know what? I tried. So what I did was, you got to win every state has a golden gloves. So for instance, Cleveland, golden gloves. Los Angeles, golden gloves. Chicago, golden gloves. New York, Detroit. Every state has a golden gloves tournament, and it happens all at the same time. And so I entered the Cleveland Golden Gloves 1986. I lied. I was 15. You're supposed to be 16 years old to enter the tournament, but they didn't have computers and all that shit, all this high tech stuff back in those days,
Yeah.
So I went there, and I'm 15 years old. I'm a skinny little scrawny cat. I'm 15. I lied. I said I'm 16. And there's three tiers. The first tier is green, meaning you're in the bracket of fighting people with no fights. You have no fights as well, you're brand new. Then the second tier is called novice division, meaning you have between 10 to 15 fights. So you fight people between 10 to 15 fights, 20 fights in that bracket. You don't fight the champions or whatever. The kid that I was, I lied. First of all, I was 15. I want to fight the open division. The open division meaning you fight any age, the slickest fighters, the best fighters in Cleveland, Ohio, Lorain, Ohio. They all come wherever. You fight the best of the best. So my first fight was fighting, I forgot the guy's name, but he had like the Hitler mustache. He had a big hairy chest, and he was big muscles. He was 32 years old. I'm a 15-year-old kid, and when we came close face to face, his hair was in my face from his chest. So I'm looking up at him like this, right? And the bell rings, man, and I've never ever in my professional career as a professional boxer got any injuries besides maybe a little swollen eye, a little fat lip. I've been very fortunate. The only time that ever happened to me was when I fought this guy, man, the Cleveland Golden Gloves. And usually you have to fight 6 to 9 times, twice a day sometimes, to win the whole tournament in your weight class.
Okay.
So this is my first fight. I'm fighting this guy with the big hairy chest, the Hitler mustache. He throws the first punch. I swear to God, I see it coming too. I see it coming like slow motion. I see it coming. And when he hit me, right in my nose, boom. And when I did the funky chicken. I wobbled from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring. My nose, I knew he broke it. I felt it twist, and all this blood started gushing out. Now I'm choking on my own blood. And I'm looking at this guy, right? And I see 6 of these guys with the Hitler mustache, 6 of them going, whoa, 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 whoa. I say, hit the motherfucker in the middle. Hit the motherfucker in the middle. And that's what I did. And after the first bell rung, I go to my corner. I'm sitting down. My nose is gushing. The doctor was going to stop the fight. And I said, no, don't stop the fight. They stuck Vaseline in my nose to stop the blood from coming down. Now it's going down my throat, so I can't breathe. And, I'm gargling all this blood. I go out the second round, I knocked the guy out in the second round. Needless to say, I fought 7 more times with a broken nose, 2 black eyes. Because like, again, it was 1986. It really wasn't, now if you get a broken nose and black eyes, you're not going to continue in the tournament. But they allowed me to. And I won the whole damn tournament about 9 times to win the whole tournament. And I also got the MVP trophy, the most outstanding fighter of the year for the Canadian Golden Gloves. And I forgot what I was talking. What was the question? Because
if you ever thought about the Olympics.
Oh yeah, so after the Golden Gloves, if you win the Golden Gloves, whatever state you're in, you qualify for the Olympic trials. So I went to the Olympic trials, and it was in Omaha, I think Omaha, Nebraska, and you have to fight about 5 or 6 times to win. I fought the best of the best, and I got to the finals. I ended up losing to Skipper Kelp. I still remember his name.
That's a hell of a name.
Skipper Kelp. And he beat me really close like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't make it to the Olympics.
Was that for the 88 Olympics?
That was for the 88 Olympics, correct.
Yep.
Because I repeated the Golden Gloves 2 years in a row, 86 and 87.
Gotcha.
And I won both of them. I got the most outstanding fighter of the year, both of them.
Gotcha.
How did they get your status going from amateur to pro? What makes you get up to the next level? Explain how that transition works when you go from being an amateur fighter to, okay, now I'm a pro fighter. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess, you know what, man, you could turn pro at the age of 18 if you get the right, people behind you, but having a good pedigree background, amateurs, and then you find some good people to turn pro with. I had about 80 some amateur fights, and I only lost probably 6 of them. I think 6 of them out of 80, 84, 85, somewhere in that ballpark. So I knew I was ready to go pro, and I turned pro in Lorain, Ohio. I had my first fight in Lorain, Ohio at the Palace right down Broadway. The Palace. That was my my second professional fight. My first one was in Baltimore against a Baltimore killer out there. I ended up beating him. Then I fought my second fight in Lorain, Ohio. The other 2 fights in Cleveland at the Nautica. And then I ended up leaving from there. So I think that just having a good pedigree background, and good people behind you, that's how you get to a pro.
Sweet. For everybody who's still watching us live here on Facebook, we are sitting down with Ricky Showtime Keyless from Lorain, Ohio, our excellent boxing friend. And if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and pop them down there in the comment box. Hi, Chaz. Hey, Ricky. How you doing? Saw you guys just popped in. Like I said, please feel free to send any comments or questions for Ricky here. He's been so nice and gracious to join us from California. We really appreciate that. As we're going through a little bit of fun with Ricky and having a little powwow session. Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry. I know you're running right up in rotation there, but wanted to slide that in.
I thought he fell asleep. You got to pay the bill. So, Ricky, you had an incredibly accomplished amateur career. You turned pro. You had that first pro fight 31 years ago yesterday. Walking down to that ring, is that just another fight to you, or is that you got nerves? What's your mindset going into that?
Nah, man, I got 50 professional fights. Every single fight, I get nerves, especially the night before the fight. You're trying to go to sleep at night. You're contemplating, I hope I don't get knocked out. My fight plan, and you're twisting and turning, and you get up, you go to breakfast, and you're in your hotel room, you're relaxing, and then time is getting ready to fight. You go to your dressing room, and the most nerves that I got is when you're sitting down with your coach, and then you put your hands out, and they're wrapping your hands, that's when you get the time to think a lot, you know. Once the hands are wrapped and you get up and start throwing punches, that's when I start getting really excited, especially walking out to the arena with all the crowd screaming. I'm hyped up, you know. But it's more, I get more nervous than I do. Huh?
You start to get in that zone.
I can't hear
You're
you.
just focused. You're right in the zone.
Oh yeah, we're definitely in the zone once I walk out to the arena. Until I get hit, then it wakes me out of my zone.
Yep.
What do you remember anything about that very first fight against Chris Lucas in Baltimore? Is anything that stands out?
The one about, yeah, you know what? The thing was, I fought him in his hometown. He was undefeated, Chris at the time. My first professional fight, we drove to Baltimore. Me, Freddie Barrios, and some of my teammates. We all drove out there to Baltimore, man. And it was predominantly 99.9% African American people, and I'm the only Puerto Rican, me and my people, you know. So when I walked out into the arena, they all booed me, and they boo, and I was like, but I was in my zone, you know what I mean? And this guy Chris, he was tall, lanky, good fighter, man. But I handled the fight very well. By the third round, they were screaming my name instead of Chris's name. Ricky, Ricky. I got more amped up. I almost knocked them out. But I ended up winning the fight. And I'll never forget that day because I got booed so hard. And in the middle of the fight, that all shit changed, you know? And which was really cool. I never, you know, I'm just my first professional fight. So I'll never forget it.
I got one fan question out there. A buddy of mine, Eric, he says he would like to know if you know Jay Claudio.
Jay Claudio. You know, I don't. I don't.
He's a boxer out of Cleveland. He says he remembers you, and you guys are about the same age.
Jay Claudio.
I might be saying the last name wrong.
You know what? I know Claudio, but I don't know if his name was Jay. And the thing is, I'm so bad with names, bro. This is years ago. Hey, I've been punched one too many times, bro. You know, it's hard to remember that far back people's names. I'm sure I know him if I saw him though. Tell him I said what's up if that was him.
We also have Chaz Velasquez says Ricky gave a fantastic speech during his Lorraine Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That had to be pretty sweet.
Bad. It was quite interesting, man. Cause everybody and all the sponsors, the people from the Hall of Fame, the organizers, the chairman, the owner of the little old guy that's been putting this on for years. He told me I was the most phenomenal speaker that they ever had in the history of Lorraine Sports Hall of Fame. I got a little loose, but it was really good, you know. And yeah, I think it's up there. You could check it out on Sports Hall of Fame, you know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Gotta get our fans in there too.
Right.
So, you boxed for 9 years before your first title. Was it frustrating how long it took you?
Say it again.
I said you boxed for 9 years before your first title. Was it frustrating how long it took you, or did you think that it would be there a lot quicker?
You know what? To be honest with you, I thought it'd be there a lot quicker. I had a lot of setbacks in my life personally, which is, you know, I'm writing a book as we speak. I'm writing a book about my life. Hopefully by beginning of next year, I'll be publishing my book about my life. And you know, I've been sober now 15 years. Back in those times, I was doing a lot of drinking, partying with my celebrity friends, and I was neglecting my training, my career. And so there was times, sometimes I took off like 6-7 months. One time I took off a year. And so I had a lot of setbacks from partying and living a life from Lorraine, Ohio traveling around the world, Europe, and a young kid um, never experienced these things in life and getting into alcohol and drugs. Um, to send me back mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and career-wise as well. So when I did get the title shot against Francisco, my first title, um, I was still partying and everything, but I took this fight serious and trained hard for it. Um, and I ended up beating him. It was a close fight, but I ended up beating him. And that didn't stop me from drinking and partying and wasting away a lot of years of valuable years of my career and just life in general. So
What
yeah,
made you what made you switch weight classes? I mean, is that something that's common going back and forth between the super lightweight and lightweight?
you know what, man? It does. It's common. It's more common to move up in weight, not to move down, unless you're fighting at a really heavy weight.
Okay.
It just depends on some opportunities. You know, if you think you can make the weight or whatnot. Um, I knew I was gonna have problems making that weight against Nate Campbell, and even against some other people, which I won all those fights. But Nate Campbell ended up losing. Um, I just felt like I could do it.
Does switching the weight class, when you are you looking for, you know, like specifically, like, is it that maybe there's another boxer that you were looking forward to that would bring out the best in you? Is that, you know, maybe that would also kind of be a way of why you would.
That's definitely a way right there as well. Um,
Who
yeah,
brought out the best in you?
and the cherry fight. I don't know if you saw that fight live on ESPN. Um, that was in 2005, the cherry fight, live on ESPN. He was number one in the world. He was the Mike Tyson in my weight class, knocking everybody out. He was 21. I was 35 years old at the time. And he brought out the best of me, man. I trained so hard for that fight. Um, Prior to that fight, I fought a guy by the name of Luis Vilata, who was the champion for the NBA title. He was a beast. You know, he was like 36 wins, with 32 knockouts, and he was a beast. And I went in that fight, and I trained really hard for that fight. And I knocked that guy down a couple times in the fight. And I never speak about this because it still bothers me to this day. But like in the last round, I knocked him down. And I didn't knock him down, almost knocked him down. I had him hurt really bad. And for some reason in my mind, it was, I don't know if it was God or some kind of something telling me, man, this should stop this fight. There's something wrong with this guy. And I looked in this guy's hair, and I got 50 professional fights. You know, I know when I see my opponent hurt, I know he's hurt, and I go for the kill. This guy was really hurt, man. I could see something was not right. And I told the referees they should stop the fight. The referee didn't stop the fight. And this guy's such a beast. He kept on coming and coming, you know. I kept on doing my thing. And after the fight, I knew I won the fight clearly, hands down. They announced me the new champion. I'm crying in the boxing ring. I got the title belt. I'm raising my hands with the title belt. And I had a big after party to go to, celebrate my celebrity friends, my people. And so I lift this guy's hands up. And I had never done this with any opponent ever. I'm a good sportsman, but I never done this with any opponent. I lifted his hands up. I lifted up in the air. I paraded him around the boxing ring. And we got a standing ovation, me and Luis Vilata. And so I go to when I beat somebody for the title, if you win the title on somebody, you get to keep the title for about a half hour, take pictures with it, but you got to return that title back. And when you return it back, they'll send you a brand new one.
With your name on it.
With your initials and your engraved whatever. Like these are mine. You keep forever, you know. So I got his title. I'm in my dressing room. His dressing room's a few feet from my dressing room. and I'm taking pictures with the title, and I'm celebrating my people. All of a sudden, man, I hear ambulance, woo, 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 woo. I hear people screaming. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? And his people came his coach and the manager came into my dressing room. They snatched the title out of my hand. Ricky, we're sorry, we gotta go. They jetted out, and I'm thinking, what's going on? My people didn't want to tell me because they didn't want to ruin my moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
My moment of celebrating that I'm champion. Well, the guy, Luis Plata, fell into a coma in the dressing room. And when I found out, like I said, I'm not in boxing because I want to hurt somebody and I want to, that's not me. I'm in it because I'm good. I make money and I'm just good at it. You know, other than that, you know, that's that. So when I found out what happened with them, the ambulance came, I saw him go on the stretcher and I cried. I canceled my after party. I went home for 4 days, locked myself at home. There was reporters outside my door. They wanted to talk to me. He ended up dying on the 4th day. And when he died, I was 33 years old. I said, I'll never box again for the rest of my life. I'm not in boxing for this happening. It destroyed me because he had kids. He had 3 kids, man. And I quit boxing for close to 2 years of my life. And I said, I never want to look at fights again, deal with boxing again. I want nothing to do with it. Well, one day I'm doing partying. I'm getting drunk and with some friends, and I'm living in Miami. And my friends said they want to watch this guy enter cherry bomb. So he knocks everybody out. He said, he's #1 in your weight class he used to be in. I said, I don't watch fights no more, you know? And he said, come on, Ricky. So they convinced me to watch the fight. And this guy entered cherry, Mike Tyson, Bill Beast, is fighting a guy that I fought once before who I beat, but I went the distance with. So the bell rings, Edmund Cherry knocks this guy out in 1 round. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, all my friends are around me, I'm drunk. I'm thinking to myself, God damn, thank God I never fought a motherfucker like that. That guy's a beast, right? I would have got knocked the fuck out. But I didn't say it because I'm too prideful, #1. #2, I looked at that and said, man, I'm not fighting no more. I swear to God, I get a phone call 1 week later from my manager. I answered, what's up, man? He goes, Ricky, are you ready? Ricky, are you ready? I said, ready for what? Ready for what? He said, be #1 in the world again. Now, mind you, I'm drinking, partying a lot. I haven't fought in almost 2 years. I've blown all my money. I'm living in Florida. I'm at an all-time low emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. Just didn't love myself. I just was going through it. So I jump up. I'm thinking I'm gonna make some money. I can come back, make some money. I'm throwing punches. Who do I gotta fight? Who do I gotta fight? And the cherry bomb. I swear to God, I went like this. Like, I'm gonna call you back. Hey, I got scared. I said, I ain't fighting that guy. Hey, it was supposed to be live on ESPN at the Hard Rock Cafe Casino. I said, this guy ain't gonna knock me out and make me look embarrassed. There's no way. But I decided to take the fight, and I trained my ass off for 3 months, and that's the first time since I was 14 years old. I'm 35 years old right now. Everybody kept on saying, you're gonna get knocked out, Ricky. Why are you taking the fight? This young kid's gonna knock you out. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm gonna get knocked out. I would go to the press conferences and all the sport reporters, you're gonna get knocked out, you're 35 years old. We don't think you're gonna last 1 round. And they're putting this shit in my head. I'm going home having fucking nightmares at bed, getting knocked the fuck out by Ender Cherry. I stopped going to press conferences and stopped dealing with press because getting in my head. I just kept on training. And for the first time since I was 14 years old, I stopped drinking because I was so scared of getting knocked out. I stopped drinking. I trained hard every night. I would jog at nighttime and I would cry. You know, I had a lot of weight on me at the time. Like I was at an all-time low. And after the 2nd month, I started getting a little 2-pack. The 3rd month of training without drinking or partying, I'm ripped. I'm in shape mentally emotionally, spiritually, I'm in shape. I said, I'm gonna whoop this guy's ass. And live at the Hard Rock Cafe Casino, about 10,000 spectators. I fought in the cheering, man, and I beat him, became number one in the world at 35 years old. And I got sober after that. So I've been sober ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mine is kind of a two-parter. Every boxer have like that one punch that like could change the tide of a fight, no matter what situation. What was that one punch for you? And the second part of my question is, what do you think are the most effective skills to become
You kind
a
of
successful
broke up.
boxer?
You kind of broke up at the skills part. We'll say it again.
Is that what's his most effective punch and most effective skills to learn as a boxer?
Well, I'm a southpaw. I'm left-handed, so my favorite punch was kind of overright southpaw punch. You know, straight left hand was my signature punch for me. And I think for boxing skills, man, there's so many different combinations you have to fight. You know, some people are really good boxers and good knockout punchers, but they get hit one time and they get rocked. All of a sudden, their mental goes away and they dwindle. They can't handle the pressure. So you have to have a strong mind, good work ethic, and be slick and sharp. You know, like one thing about me, man, I can take a good punch, man. I've been hit by the best punchers in the world in my weight class and withstood everything. So having a good, strong mind, but I think great boxing skills. It's one thing to just be a brutal fighter, go in there and knock everybody out. But you get somebody that's really slick and talented, moving like a Pernell Whitaker, Hector Macho Camacho, stuff like that. Really slick fighters that'll take away your strength and your power. Those are some good skills to have as being a sick fighter, man. I hope that answers your question, brother.
Oh, it did.
Little
Alright.
follow up on that, George. Ricky, is it harder to fight a right-handed boxer or a left-handed boxer?
For me,
For anybody,
definitely. So I'm southpaw. I'm left-handed. I'm definitely a left-handed puncher. Absolutely. Because we're both staying in a southpaw stance,
right.
and so our heads are getting like we're clashing heads a lot. It's
Right.
just really awkward, man. Yeah.
Quick hello to Ryan Redinger, Mike Lee, and Doug Kaufman, of course, who are also jumping in, joining us. And Mike, I like how you said hi to Doug. That was hilarious. Good, Akers, you're up.
Looking back here, looking back at your points and your wins and losses here, you ever look back on your fights, think about what you did? Could you have done something different? So like Louis Braha, your first loss, you got knocked out. Did you study how he attacked you so that way it wouldn't happen to you again?
Absolutely. So I didn't get knocked out. They ended up stopping the fight. I got knocked down 3 times, and the 3 times I got back up every time I was ready to go. But they give you a 3 knockdown rule.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's what they got it marked as.
Yeah. So that's what happened, and that was he was a much skillful fighter at the time. For me, I only had like I think 4 or 5 fights at the time. If I recall correctly. Yeah, I go back. I think about a lot of times, like all the partying and drinking and times that I wasted that I could have just utilize that time to perfect my craft. So this is a lot of times, I go back and think I could have did this, did that, and but you can't change back, time. So I accept it and went far in my life, my career, and I had some setbacks, but I had more triumphs than setbacks. So I had to be content with that, and come to respect that.
Now, you kind of touched on it with the Nate Campbell training, dropping the weight class. Who was the easiest? Well, kind of a two-parter here. Who was the easiest and the toughest boxer to train for?
I'm sorry. Train for what?
You kind of touched on it with Nate Campbell when you said you had to drop a whole bunch of weight. Well, who was the easiest and the hardest boxer to train for?
Train for? Okay. I think the hardest boxer for boxing style is a slick boxer. I'm a slick boxer. Somebody that moves around a lot, slick, that causes you to miss a lot. Those are the hardest ones for me. The big punchers, Mike Tyson knockout punchers that come in there, and those are the ones I like to fight more because I'll slick them,
Right.
And I can take a good punch, you know what I mean? So those are probably the easier ones for me. I'd rather fight a knockout artist than somebody that's got a slick fight that got less knockouts.
Now, is it harder to train for a guy that I think he boxed a guy who has a 1-8-1 record? Is it hard to train for someone like that?
In the beginning, you know what? Nah, man. In the beginning, because they got you fights just to help you to get your record together. Sometimes an easy fight, but most of my fights, 98% of my fights, all been tough fights. Maybe a few, 2-3 of them pretty easy, but never take it for granted. I saw guys undefeated, my friends, undefeated fighters, bro, like 18-0 with 17 knockouts, 20-something-0 with 20-something knockouts. Fight a guy, 8 wins, 20 losses. And they took that guy lightly. They didn't train for him or nothing. And that guy came in the best shape of his life. Throws a haymaker, boom, knocks my friend out. I got 20-some wins for 20-some knockouts. And this guy, 8 wins, 20 losses, or 8 wins, 18 losses, knocks him out, So I never took nobody for granted, regardless of what the record looked like or whatnot. Because you can get a guy who's got a losing record, but fought the best, some of the tough fighters, and he's had bad luck, And so I never took nobody for granted. I train hard for all my fights the best way I can.
Quick couple shout outs. Hey to Carrie, Kathy, Sean, as well. Sean's actually over in California too. And of course, Dave Wolenchek has also jumped in and is watching us live as well. Feel free, folks, if you want to turn around and ask Ricky any questions, go ahead and post them down there. We'll turn around and read them off for you. Ricky, I'd like to turn around and take a couple of quick minutes to talk about the Lotto fight. This was for the NABA lightweight. I found myself spending an hour watching the whole fight and just watching the way you guys were moving around and whatnot. But the one thing I noticed right off the bat are those Jordans you were wearing in that. I noticed that right off the bat. I was like, wait a minute, he's wearing Jordans in this thing.
They were the Roy Jones, Michael Jordan boxing shoes. Michael Jordan made these boxing shoes for Roy Jones. Roy Jones made a line of them, and they were so dope. I wanted to get a pair. I still got them. I got 2 different pairs, blue ones and the red ones.
Man, Jordan will make any type of shoe, will he?
Yeah.
It was the first.
They're the dopest boxing shoes I believe still out there.
It was crazy that it went wide camera, and I'm looking, and the first thing I noticed is the little Jordan logo on your shoes.
Yes.
Wait a minute, what? I said, wait a second, hold on. I did not know Jordans were made into boxing shoes.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
That's when they first came out too. They were dope.
That was really nice.
Yeah,
I noticed that, like you covered it a little bit. I noticed that you like to move around in the ring, and you kind of had this cat-like style. And is that like one of your primary techniques, is to kind of get that, you like dancing around into that outer shell of the ring and then kind of lure them and almost lull them to sleep to fall, to get them right into the center of the ring? Is that one of your primary?
You know, everybody has their own little style, man. Mine's, like I said, I'm not like a Mike Tyson knockout at 5'4" at all. I'm just a slick character, man, fighter. And that's, for me, moving around like that, making you think a lot, keeping you on your P's and Q's, taking you off your game and your edge a little bit. And it goes into my favor and gets you off guard, you know? So being a little slick caddy like that, like a mongoose, and move around, faking you out and making you move, doing this and I capitalize on that. So that was definitely one of my styles.
I noticed that even in the 10th, like specifically the 10th and the 12th round, you were just, you kind of got away from a break and you just started showing off that footwork and the crowd started getting hyped right back into the fight. And I said, man, I said, he's doing that. I says, he's just razzing up the crowd because it, you know, when you see two guys just kind of keep going in and the referee has to keep calling for the breaks, you know, it's like, all right, well, come on, you know, let's get it along. Let's see some more punching and everything. All of a sudden you got out of this one break and it was like you started putting on some dancing moves and the footwork was sick. And I said, even for 12 rounds, for as tired as you guys looked, and you just start breaking out some extra footwork as you're circling around in the outside of the, on that outer shell of the ring ropes there. I said, man, amazing after 12 rounds. And he's still pulling out the footwork. It was impressive.
Thank you. You know, I guess I remember that. I hyping myself up. I knew I was winning the fight, man. I was so stoked I was going to win another title. So I bring out some of those dancing moves. And God knows now I ain't got those dancing moves at all. Like to be on the dance floor doing that shit no more. So I got memories, you know.
I never had any dancing moves, so I'm kind of jealous.
Are there any unwritten rules, like in, you know, there's like for, well, baseball's supposed to be like no stealing signs or whatever. Are there any unwritten rules like in boxing? Because specifically, like I saw, you were more of a sportsmanship thing than in some other fights I've seen. Once the guys kind of got him in almost a hold, and he'll just keep going in to start getting some extra punches into his head. But you didn't seem to do that. As you got into the hold, you just kind of worked your way in to just turn around and try to get the separation. Is there like an unwritten rule of, hey, you know, be cool about it and don't pull that off? Or is that just something of, hey, guess what? You know, you're in there, I can still keep going.
Yeah, you know, there's no unwritten rule, man. The only thing is, you know, if you're in there in the clinches, you got to fight your way out. And the guy keeps trying to hit you, whatever. But if he hits you behind the head on purpose or behind the back, you know, or of course, in the crotch or whatnot, they'll take 2 points away from you. And then if you do it again, they can disqualify you. I was never one to fight dirty, you know, like I'm not a dirty fighter. I'm a pretty clean fighter. And, you know, I've been in situations where that's happened to me. Like, and in fact, in the cherry, he will hold me and then he will punch me in my leg, yeah, on purpose. So I like really hard. And when the referee was on the other side, and I yanked him up with my elbow. What are you doing, man? He kept on hitting me there to slow me down, you know? And I told the referee, and the referee checked it out afterwards and caught him doing it and was going to take a point away, but didn't. But you got dirty fighters like that, and you just got to roll with the punches, man, and keep them moving.
You brought up towards the end, you've already brought it up a little bit. When you know that this guy has had enough, yet mentally he's kind of in robot mode of, I can still go, but you know that this guy just really hasn't had enough. I mean, is it pretty much at the point of, like you said to the referee, hey, this guy is done, you know, we've got to, you know, call it here, and the ref's not doing anything about it. Is that more of, at the time, is that something that definitely should be policed a little bit more than it should be? Or is it just that, hey, it's just part of boxing and
I think it's part of boxing, but the thing is that for this in particular fight, fighting against Luis Villalta, he kept on bouncing back up like nothing, you know. It wasn't like he was wobbling. He wobbled a little bit all over the place, but he kept himself in control. It wasn't like he was getting knocked down and he barely got up and he was wobbling all over the place. He kept himself together very much. So because of that, they allow you to fight, you know.
Okay.
So it just depends on the individual and how hurt you are, you know,
Yeah.
and what referee you having that's refereeing the fight at the time as well. There's been a lot of premature fights that's been stopped. The guy got knocked down, bounced back up, and they stopped the fight. But he was good to go. He could have won the fight. He's actually won the whole fight, and they stopped the fight. So it just depends, you know.
Okay.
When did you notice that he was starting to not be himself in the ring?
Honestly, like probably between the 6th and 7th round. But then again, he will always come back.
Right.
But more so the last round, the 12th round. Every fight's for 12 rounds. So those are title rounds. The 12th round, I knew something was wrong with him. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a weird fall, like because his stride was super long.
Yeah.
I really noticed it in the 11th round when he kind of like dropped to one knee, and it was like that stride. It's like his feet were just too far apart to really keep and regain his balance, his composure. So I happened to notice that ordeal on that. So I mean, that kind of it's just the way that the our certain box, is that more of a, like Clint was saying earlier, with different style of punches, is that just something that maybe he was more of the power versus the agility?
I'm not quite sure. This guy was just a strong guy. Mentally, he was strong as well. He did wobble a couple times, like you said, but he just kept on coming back and trying to fight. And I gave him a lot of respect for that. And in my personal opinion, I think that it was a precondition that he probably had some kind of blood clot prior to me fighting. I just been the one fighting him that night. Could have been, if it wasn't me, it would have been somebody else.
Right.
I think that it was something prior, maybe prior fights or during training camp. He developed like a blood clot and it just exploded. I think that that might have been the issue. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, but
Okay.
it wasn't like I hit him so hard and knocked him down on the floor and he barely got up,
Right.
It was a lot of cumulative punches. Any one of those could have did. Boxing's a dangerous game, man. Boxing, I know a couple other people that passed away in boxing as well. And it's a very tough sport, dangerous sport as well. So I've just been very fortunate. I've never been in those positions,
Yeah.
I'm gonna change. We're gonna get out of the fighting scenario. We're gonna go to your training section. You've trained a lot of people, and I'm just trying to find out, how do you educate somebody to let them know when enough is enough for them, on how they should either know when to stop the fight or they should stop the fight for themselves?
That's a good question. The thing about me is that I opened up a boxing gym after 3 years and not doing nothing in my life. Then I didn't want to really to be part of boxing again for quite some time. So when I opened up my boxing gym, I didn't want to open up a boxing gym to train professional fighters. I had no interest in training professional fighters. If I wasn't going to fight, I ain't training no professional fighters. I was like, I want to fight, make me have a comeback,
Your juices went going.
Yes.
We'll have to do it in the Palace here against Ryan Birch.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
give me the poke of doom on the shoulder. I'm done, man.
Yeah. So when I went back and thought about opening up a gym, I didn't have an interest, like I said, train professional fighters. I just want to train regular people of all walks of life, old, young, fat, skinny, ugly, pretty, whatever. And I just want to train people, man, to get in good shape mentally and emotionally. And all my skills since I was 6 years old, I want to just give to other people and give them a set of boxing skills and slickness. So that's what I do. And I've been very fortunate. I train like a lot of the big celebrities, Will Smith, Shia LaBeouf, J.K. Simmons, Carmen Electra, David Arquette. I train quite a few celebrities, but just train people to get in really good shape. And it's been a fulfillment for me to give away my craft and see other people, you know, learn. I got like a 76-year-old lady, swear to God, just about this short. And she came in with a hunchback, and she walked hunchback. And she's been with me for 3 years. Her back's a little straighter, and she's a punch like this. now, beast. Ah, you know, she's a beast. And those are my gifts, is to see people transform. Because I think of myself like Michelangelo, the ancient Renaissance artist. And you come in my gym like a blank piece of paper, and I just create artwork with my clients and see them transform from not knowing nothing about boxing to feeling confident, empowered, and feeling good about themselves. And those are my gifts that I get for myself. And that's why I like doing what I do, you know, is train people.
See, Mike, there's hope for you yet.
I thought about it, but I got to go all the way to Hollywood. Be here in Lorraine. Or I guess in my case, Sandusky.
Yeah.
Speaking of training, we've all seen the boxing movies and the training montages, and you know, whether it's throwing punches at a side of beef or dragging logs in snow. Can you tell us what is a legitimate, like a daily boxing regimen when you're getting ready for a fight, and how has it evolved from back in the day to now, if it has evolved?
That's a really good question, brother. You know, people train a little differently, but basic, doing your running 3 to 5 miles, about 5 times a week, going to the gym, jumping rope, hitting the punching bag 5 to 6 rounds, doubling bags, those like a little peanut, about that big, with a rubber string this side rubber. So when you hit it, it moves all over the place. Yeah, it's called doubling bag, sharpen up your skills, and sparring. You know, great sparring, good sparring partners that are top notch, that gives you competition, that sharpen your skills. And you know, when you're boxing with them, and of course all your calisthenics and eating good nutrition, eating good, taking care of yourself, mentally, emotionally. But usually I would go to training camp. When I had big fights, I would go to a training camp and train with some of the best fighters in the world, and we'll all box against each other. So we'll help each other get on the same level almost, you know? And there's times, you know, that very difficult training camps, very hard. You had to wake up early in the morning. Your coach is waiting for you to go run. They'll drive the car behind you while you're running in the early morning before the sun comes up. I go back to my hotel after running, go to sleep for a couple hours, get back up by 10, go be at the gym at 11 in the morning, train for about 3 hours in the gym, go back to my hotel, eat some food, and then at nighttime, do like a little bit of weights or calisthenics and stretching. That was kind of basically the format.
I got to follow up on you talked about sparring partners. Are they guys coming up in boxing, or are they guys who are your level too, or what?
No, my level and better, and some like really top-notch fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And some that are coming up, you know. some bad boys that came up. I was spar with them, and so some of the top-notch fighters um, um, that were champions and that were like number one in the world. We would spar against each other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a mixture.
Okay.
So you trained over 100 people, from beginners to professionals. Who were some of the professionals that came through your gym?
I'm sorry, say that again now?
I said you trained over 100 people, from beginners to professionals. Who are some of the professionals that came through your gym that
They
you
came to
worked
my
with?
now, King Rosado, Gabriel Rosado. He was on Creed, the movie Creed, the
Yeah.
boxing movie. Yeah, the guy with the tattoos. He's a cool
Oh, okay.
cat. Yeah,
I was like, I know who he's talking about.
You
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, he trained in my gym with me. Nate Campbell actually came to my gym. Oh man, I had so many people, man. They came to my gym and worked out. Miguel Cotto came to my boxing gym when he was champion of the world. Miguel Cotto, one of my favorite fighters, came to my gym, worked out. So I had quite a bit of them, you know.
Did you get Miguel Cotto before or after Margarita? The
Oh
first
no,
one.
I didn't. In fact, speaking of Miguel Cotto, I fought in Puerto Rico 2004. I'm sorry, 2003. In Puerto Rico, Miguel Cotto had 2 or 3 professional fights. I fought the main event. And he was in my dressing room watching me getting ready and working out. And we became friends ever since then. Now it's the main event. And of course, he shot to superstardom, which was really cool. But he's still one of my friends to this day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Having transitioned from being a boxer to being a trainer, what do you find most rewarding about it now?
I'm sorry, what's what?
What do you find most rewarding about being a trainer now?
It was, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was a difficult transition because when I quit boxing, man, I've been boxing since I was 6 years old, professional for 19 years. So my identity was being a professional athlete. That's what made me feel like I accomplished something in my life and made me feel kind of good about myself. So when I quit boxing, I didn't have that attachment anymore of being a professional fighter. And so I guess like after I could box like 2, 3 months, I got really depressed. Emotionally got depressed. I'm like, who am I? Who's Ricky Quiles? Without having a professional boxer attachment to my name. Who am I without boxing? And I got really lost for quite some time. And I went traveling around the world, just getting to learn who I am by myself and get to learn to love myself again. So that's when, after 3 years of discovering who I am without being a boxer, like I said, I opened up a gym to train people. And my gifts of what's satisfying about training people is getting people in the gym that don't know nothing about boxing, but they just want to get in shape and feel good about themselves, whatever age you are, old or young, and to see them feel good, feel proud of themselves, and to see them grow from feeling insecure to feeling kind of secure and proud of themselves. And to see them do that, those are some of the gifts that I get. I don't know if that made any sense or not, but
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Now, it seems that MMA is taking over, and boxing is taking a back seat. Where do you see the sport of boxing in the next few years?
I won't say it took a back seat, although MMA it's a very popular sport. I think that boxing is still a top-notch sport. I think that boxing has been around forever. It's going to remain around as long as you have great fights and good matchups. Although, again, I respect all sports. I think MMA is definitely on a big rise. There are two different types of sports, though. And you're gonna have your boxing fans, you're gonna have your MMA fans, you're gonna have a mixture of both. So I think time will tell, but I think that boxing is gonna be here forever, just like probably MMA will be here forever. You know?
Yeah.
It's-
Have you trained anybody that was trying to go into MMA? I mean, not train like the boxing side of it, of trying to go to MMA, or no?
No, I had a couple guys. There were YouTube video, um, top echelon video YouTubers, and they went to MMA and they came to my gym, wanted me to train them. Victor, I forgot Victor's last name, and a couple other ones, Kyler Fisher, and they want to jump into MMA, but I told them, listen, man, I'm gonna be honest. I'll train you for boxing. I don't know nothing about MMA. I know nothing about that, so I can't give you what you want, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's not my thing, man. I want if somebody told me they want to train for MMA, I'll tell them they have to go to the MMA gym, you know.
Do you watch it at all?
I've seen it sometimes. I'm not like a big crazy fan about it. I watch some of the good fights that come on. For me, if they're not fighting and slugging it out, it gets kind of boring for me watching wrestle and laying on the ground. I get a little bit bored.
Right.
But I respect the game. You know what I mean? Like hands down, I respect it. I just I'm a boxing enthusiast, and that's me.
Okay, so you got your name Showtime from Mr. Showtime Magic Johnson himself.
Yes, that's right.
Tell me the story about that.
Hey, you must have been thinking some shit about me, boy. I used to, like I said, I was fighting at the Great Western Forum here in Los Angeles, where I live, and that's where the Lakers were playing in the 90s, right? And so from 90 on to like, I don't know, close to 2000, I fought at the Great Western Forum. And I was becoming a regular there. And Magic Johnson was always there. He'd watch all my fights. Showtime! Come on, it's showtime. So it stuck with me, and I kept the name. And when I sang out Magic Johnson, you're a little Showtime, baby. You're a badass. And, we would laugh. And so I kept the name Showtime. Yeah.
Which title fight was your favorite bout?
Which title fight was my favorite bout?
Yeah.
I think
we stumped him. We stumped him. We stumped him. He's speechless. Hey.
Oh man. War against the Warriors for the NABO title, that was a big accomplishment win for me, because for the NBA title, live on ESPN, that fight was in Chicago. So a lot of my family members drove from Lorain, Ohio to Chicago and to support me. And this guy was a much bigger guy. I moved up weight class actually to fight this guy. And he was a way bigger guy than I was. And I slicked him. And I won the NBO title. So that was a big fight for me,
Mm-hmm.
Against, not Wars, I'm sorry, against Rivera. Cosmere Rivera. Yeah, that was one of the best title fights for me, was against him.
Nice. I know with boxing, I know most of the time you're training, working out, preparing for your opponent. So I know there's sometimes some people say boxing is like fun. So do you have any like funny stories from your boxing career?
This battle, man, I had a great time in my boxing career, man. Like I said, when I go to training camps, there'll be other fighters there, and always cracking jokes, and always boxed each other, and we snuck out at night, left training camps in the early mornings, just crazy stuff, shenanigans, life shenanigans.
Uh-oh, it sounds like there's a code there of
Yeah.
happens in camp stays in camp. Uh-oh. It's like, yeah, we're not getting
We're not getting it out of him
fired
on
out
that
of
one.
him.
Yeah.
We ain't getting there.
Put it
We
this
can
way.
use a
I live
crowbar.
I lived a wild life, man. Crazy life, fun times, good times, and did a lot of crazy shit with a lot of people. So, but it was good.
Well, you covered a little bit about it. July 11th, do you treat that now as, say, a new birthday for you?
July 11th, for me being sober, that's my second birthday for me. Yeah, it was one of the hardest things I did in my life. When I decided to get sober, man, I needed to. I was number one in the entire world. I beat Anna Cherry, and I've been drinking 3 months because I trained so hard because I was scared of getting knocked out by Anna Cherry, and so I get out the boxing ring. I'm number one in the world. I'm screaming. I'm yelling. I'm 35 years old. I'm come out the boxing ring. I'm just alive at the Hard Rock Cafe Casino. And my friends pour beer on my head. Again, I've been drinking 3 months. My friends pour beer on my hand. I swear to God, a beer like this. And he zigzagged. And went to my tip of my nose. I went like this. I tasted the beer. And man, for 3 nights, I was up for 3 nights drinking, partying. And I get dropped off at my home in Miami. I live by myself. I get in my home and I start crying. Like, what the fuck am I doing to myself? Again, I'm number one in the world and I can't stop drinking and partying. I've been drinking and partying since I was 14 years old. So I was dating a girl in Chicago and I flew to Chicago just to escape a little bit and to get, just go hang out with her. And I decided to put myself in rehab. And it was a really hard decision because I was embarrassed, A. B, I was ashamed. C, I didn't want nobody to know about it. I didn't tell my family, I didn't tell my promoters, I didn't tell nobody besides the girl I was with. And I put myself in rehab for 3 months. And because of that, when you have a 3-month stipulation, if you're world champion or if you're number one in the world, you got to defend it within 3 months. If you don't defend it within 3 months, then they'll strip you from being number one in the world or strip you from the title. But I put myself in rehab, man. And I was there for 3 months and that stripped me from being number one in the world. But I came out to start a new fresh outlook on life. And it was the most phenomenal decision I've ever made in my life. Self-care, self-love. And I love it, man. I go to a lot of meetings here in Los Angeles. Most of my celebrity friends, we all go to the same meetings together. And hang out is really dope. It's pretty cool. So I'm blessed to be sober. And it's definitely got me to reevaluate life in a different way. And I'm a much happier human being.
That's excellent. And thanks for sharing that with us too. Thanks. Now, on a much lighter side of things, we, of course, as you know, we're a bunch of guys who like to have fun. So I have to ask the most obvious question in boxing. The boxers are definitely checking out the ring girls during the fight. Come on. You gotta give us that. Because the referee is in the corner. The referee's checking her out. But as you're getting wiped down and everything, tell me, I watched that Louis fight. I'm like, I think he snuck a peek checking out the one girl going out the ring.
Most of the times I'm in my zone. But yes, I have checked out a lot of ring girls along my journey in my career. Absolutely. In fact, I took a couple of them off. There you go.
Hey, we got something out of them, guys. We got.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, whoa, yeah, okay.
Yes,
It's like,
absolutely.
yeah, because the referees are definitely checking them out. They're just
Referees,
order.
the ringside people, everybody, you know,
The point there.
including the fighters themselves.
Open floor, guys. Anybody got anything else you want
Yeah,
to?
because I'm about
Real
to
quick.
get ready to go shortly. So,
But
Yeah.
how many countries did you? I'm sorry, Zolt. How many countries did you box in?
well, I box all over the United States. The countries I traveled to different countries, train with the best fighters in
Oh,
the
okay.
world.
Okay.
I never fought in different. Definitely. No, I went to Puerto Rico, but
I
that's
was gonna say Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to call that a different country.
yeah. But I fought mostly all in the United States.
Yeah.
But I traveled to all over the world went to different training camps,
Gotcha.
Europe, Rome, Italy, Paris, Germany, Australia, Japan. So I've been very fortunate.
Gotcha.
Real quick, I mean, I'm a huge hockey fan, and I'm always used to the stories of the two guys that in the middle of the game just get into a fight, and then they go out to dinner afterwards. Do
I'm sorry,
boxers do that?
Say it again.
My question is, in hockey, you get your two enforcers that just fight during the game and then go out to dinner afterwards. Do boxers
Right.
do that? Do you guys hang out? I mean,
I've seen that before, and I hung out with my competitor, 2-3 competitors of mine before as well. But more than likely, it's a once in a blue moon thing. It does happen. Like me and Nate Campbell, we're good friends to this day. We still talk. After my fight, I saw him, he gave me a big hug. I really go out to eat and like that. I didn't want to look at the motherfucker after the fight. You know what I mean?
right?
He kicked my ass. I would be thinking about this shit. I want to fight him again, But,
yeah. Hey, thanks for the big black eye. I appreciate it.
Exactly. and I don't want to be saying constantly, man, if I didn't lose all the weight, I would have whooped his ass. I would have been torturing myself. So, but
Well, now would if you went out to dinner with them, something like that, would people like all of a sudden see you and think something you guys were in cahoots with each other?
no.
I'm not saying that, but you know what I'm, the general feeling, of someone saying, oh, these guys just beat the hell out of each other. Now they're all chummy with them,
Yeah, and like I said, it's a rarity that you see people right after the fight get together, hang out. It's a rarity. It's happened before, but it's a rarity. I've never personally hung out with somebody right after the fight, like maybe 2-3 days afterwards or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I have a dinner and just talk about everything and make sure, like me and Nate Campbell did. But I think he's the only one that and of course, if I saw my other opponents, let's say the next day, as in the cafeteria or like crossing paths, give him a high five and what's up, man, and that's that. But I never really hung out with my any fighters that I fought.
Clint, anything for?
Yeah. Okay. One more question. So,
Make it good, brother. Make it good.
all right. I think I might know your answer already. I think I might know your answer already. But
Okay.
if you can fight one fighter from any generation, past or present, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a bad question, bro. Shit. I tell you what, to be honest with you, the one that will give me the most goddamn money, boy. Hey,
Nice. That's the perfect answer.
how you like that answer?
Oh, that's a good one.
Hey,
That's
Are you
right.
guys the same way?
Hey, Weather.
Hey, win, lose or draw. Win, lose or draw. You want to have hey, if you get beat up, black eye, busted lip, you want to have some money to show for it, damn it. You know what I mean? So whatever which one gives you the most money, I'll fight them.
Oh yeah, that'd be Floyd Mayweather.
Exactly.
Are you the same weight as Floyd?
No, he's a heavier weight class than me. He's a bad dude though, slick. Only if he was a father a little bit more. For me, Floyd Mayweather is a slick fighter, smart fighter, but it could be a bit boring because he doesn't interact with the other fighter and banging and fight, make it more interesting, or it's just really one-sided tactical. So,
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks that.
No, I think that too.
Hey, Dave's got a question here. Ask him if he's ever had an oh boy.
the what?
The oh boy.
The
The
oh
sandwich.
boy.
The sandwich.
Lyria restaurant. Over there on Lake Avenue.
Boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No, I never have. I tell you what, when I go home, I'll go check it out. If you're buying, I'm going.
Yes, that's the answer right there.
Oh, yep.
that.
Hey, one
You
more-
come
one more-
back home, we'll go to Oh Boy. Don't worry about
Yep.
it.
Hey, I'm like, oh boy.
Now,
Yeah.
I got one more question. Now you talked about dropping weight classes, how you had to drop all that weight. Is it just as tough to go up in a weight class than it is to go down in a weight class?
It depends on the individual and your body and that. Sometimes it's easier to go down for certain people. For me, unfortunately, it was more easier to go up than come down, because me coming down, it was to my body. I'm a skinny cat anyways, but I got like heavy bones, man. And it was just really hard to lose the weight. Like I really struggled to lose that weight. And it took a lot out of me. Luckily, I got a good, strong mind, and I worked hard, but I should have been up in a higher weight class from the get-go, but it is what it is, man. So for me, it's easier to go up a weight class than going down one.
Shit happens,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jay said he'll buy.
Yep, Dave says he'll buy.
Hey,
He'll
I want
buy.
to say thank you guys so much for having me on your show, man. I felt tremendously blessed and grateful to be chopping it up with all you guys. And you guys seem like you guys are having a phenomenal time and a good time with each other.
Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you very much, Ricky.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate this.
Yeah, thanks.
This is awesome. And like I said, anytime you want to turn around and jump in, just give me a holler and I'll set it up. No problem.
Hey,
at
for
all.
sure. Absolutely, George, man. Thank you again, brother. Hey, all of you guys, man. I'm sending you guys many blessings, love, and light on your journey of life during these dark times. And you and your family, man. Blessings to all of you.
Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah,
Hey,
you
man. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Bye.
too.
Finish the rest of your day. We'll be going to bed.
Hey, bro, it's still daylight. Look.
Oh, that's not cool. That's wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I bet it's warmer there too.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey, 80 degrees warm.
Oh, gee.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Hey, on that note, have a good day, guys.
Have a
you
good day.
too. Thanks,
You
Ricky.
too.
Take care,
Thank you.
brother. Bye.
Bye. All right. That was just too damn cool. That was awesome. All right, we're going to turn around and take actually a break here. Keeping my fingers crossed this bad boy works as well for me. We will turn around and take a break and let these commercials run.
Detroit Auto Parts is a proud sponsor of this station. Save 10% off your order when you mention Redline Radio, serving 2 locations in Cleveland. The East Side,
All right, I think that was my last one. Oh, that worked out somewhat better than I anticipated.
Was there sound?
What's that?
Was there supposed to be sound?
Yeah,
There was no sound.
there was no sound. You've got to be kidding.
Nope. You lost sound. You lost sound after the first slide.
After the first one?
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, that sucks because
Read them, George. Read them.
that truly stinks.
I can hear it now.
It is. Can you hear me, George?
Yep, we hear you, Suds.
Hey,
Sweet.
Sud,
Hey,
how the hell are you?
I'm doing all right. I just got done with rehab.
Which NFL player is in there with you?
Pokey. But I turned myself around.
Which NFL player was with you?
McFadden. He decided to join me after he decided to run into a building, pass out. The police had to break into his car. Then he decided to try to drive through the building.
Was it a Dollar Tree?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, we had that happen down here, Suds. It was kind of interesting.
It was a
I never
deal.
even heard of this. Right? It was. I never even heard of this restaurant. It doesn't exist in the state of Michigan, nor in I don't think Ohio. It was like a Whataburger or something like that. A Whataburger.
Oh yeah, I've heard of
No,
it.
I don't. I already had one.
Well, maybe he just wanted to put a drive-through in there. They didn't have one.
Well, he took that sign literally, drive through. He didn't make it. But he got just 4 days in jail. That's a hell of a deal. He damn near runs through runs through a building, and he only gets 4 days.
Hey, they had a guy do that here in Lorraine Amherst Vermilion section. The guy drove through the adult mark, through the entrance,
Oh yeah.
got out of the car, grabbed a sex doll, ran back to the car, dropped it, ran back, got another doll, got in his car, and then drove out the other side of the building.
What the hell?
I'm pleading the fifth.
Apparently, he didn't like the first doll. It wasn't a blonde, I guess.
No, I didn't have the rubber patches in case it blew out.
Okay, we want to jump in real fast with the NBA restart. We apologize. We, of course, excellent interview with Ricky. We ran a little over, but hey, when you've got greatness sitting there talking boxing for a while, we'll take it. We'll take it all day. Suds, Clint, this is Suds.
How you doing, man?
How you
Another
doing?
guy up in Michigan that we pulled
You
in.
Michigan. You a Michigan fan?
No.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, all right.
Come on, you gotta explain to him.
I am a Michigan State fan, true and blue.
Green,
Green.
green.
Michigan State.
I'm true and blue without being blue.
Yes.
Ain't got no problem with Michigan State. Just Michigan.
Well,
Don't worry.
we're gonna lean this right off the bat right to Suds and fill us in here on what your thoughts of this NBA restart.
Well, the NBA is trying to attempt to reopen by isolating themselves into one or two major cities, either Vegas or Florida, and try to stay at Disney World. And they're going to try to isolate themselves, bringing in their families and their coaching staff and pretty much everybody, that cameramen and all that. And they're going to sit there at a hotels, and they're looking at like 15,000 of the Corona test kits in order to pull this off, which if they try to do that will make themselves look like major assholes, and then try to play out the season. A lot of the older NBA players are pushing for this, especially with ones like LeBron James, whose window is closing rapidly, with the free agent market coming up, Anthony Davis being able to be a free agent, Chris Paul, George, uh, um, and several other players all being free agents or being able to buy themselves out and not being able to maybe put together a winning championship team. Uh, our boy from Milwaukee, he'll be able to leave, and that could change the dynamic depending on where he goes. If LeBron wants to win a championship, but Guinness, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, another one of those damn names.
Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis.
Yeah, that dude. If he
Who knows?
decides to jump ship and ends up over there with the Clippers, it looks like he'll be a championship will be hard pressed for next year.
Ooh, you really think he leaves Milwaukee?
Why does everybody want to go to LA?
It's
I
not
heard
whether or
the
not they want to
Warriors.
go LA, so they want to join forces, because it seems to be the case where everybody wants to join forces with at least two other players, in order to get themselves a championship.
Yeah, but look how
I
many
mean-
damn wins he had. Excuse me. Look how many damn wins he had going in before all this happened. In Milwaukee with no one really, no really second, wingman with him. That was
It really
anything
didn't do
capable.
LeBron James any good when he was sitting there over at the East.
No, I know.
I mean,
it
you
was
just-
they kept mealing a second wingman for him, and it never really worked until
Yeah.
him and Kyrie got together. I
It's
just hate to see
it's
someone move from a small town, small market like that who's doing
Yeah,
really
it would
well.
be nice
know?
for them to stay in, but
It would.
at this point in time, you have everybody joining forces. If they can't get the season in right now, you don't know what a team's going to be looking like. I mean, right now you have you have your foot on the Warriors' neck right now, and you just can't wait for them to come up next year, and all of a sudden they jump in and get Guinness, whatever the hell his name is, and he ends
Oh, there
up
you go.
with a bunch of another title for the Warriors. I mean, they have room; they could bring him in.
Did they have the money to do it?
Oh, yeah, they got it. They trade some pieces away. They'll get rid of Wiggins' big contract for one.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I hate the idea of someone who's doing that well and makes a name for himself in a small market, and then all of a sudden just wants to go to a bigger market. And I understand why, because it's bigger market, bigger, recognition and all that. But it's just, George, this. I go back to the old days where everybody stayed at the same spot for how many damn years until they retired. So
Yeah.
I'm more like that than
I say it all the time.
yeah.
You could blame the Boston Celtics for this. The Boston Celtics is the start of this problem. Going back with when the Garnett came in with Boston, with Ray Allen and Pierce, and they joined forces, and LeBron couldn't get himself anywhere near the championship. That's why he ended up in Miami, because he could never beat Boston at that point because of what they did. It just sucks that the way this is going. The only way I could possibly see them stopping this kind of activity is putting a hard cap on it, where you can't have the luxury tax, where you just strictly have a hard tax, and that would put a stop on it. You tell these players that this is the cap, we can't go over it, and it would end a lot of this movement. But until the CBA comes around and they can negotiate, or hell, this coronavirus could end up putting a damper on anyways, because a lot of their salary cap is based upon how much money they make per year. And with losing probably more than $1 billion in cash alone, could put a damper on how much money each team can pay a player.
Going back to the original question, do they start playing again?
No, they won't. They won't do this. They can't come up with the 15, or they can come up with the 15,000, but they're going to look like major assholes if they do, because people are struggling getting these tests, and for them to jump in and claim 15,000 of these tests in order for them to play out a season, in order for them to pay basically 2 months would be ridiculous and would be a PR nightmare, especially with the hit on the black community currently. With how many of the people in the black community people are dying, it would be such a major hit that they probably won't do it.
Is it
Yeah,
because of the testing? I'm sorry. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, if they go ahead with this, they're going ahead without those tests. There's no way that's happening.
But we have to also include the age of the coaches. I mean, you're not talking about 20-something-year-old coaches. I mean, you're talking about Popovich, who's how old is he? Damn, he's got to be closer in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot of those coaches that are well into their 50s in their prime real estate for this coronavirus and could be wiped out real quick. Could you imagine what kind of nightmare would you have if you lost Popovich to the coronavirus because you wanted to play out a season because you wanted to crown a champion? You'd kill your league.
My question is it the testing, or is it just it's not realistic that they're not going to be able to come back and finish an abbreviated rest of the year?
The amount of money you'd have to put in for 2 months,
right,
in order to pull this off would be extraordinary. You might as well just start up another year. The only problem is that some of these veterans don't want to do that because I believe there was over 15, 20 top possible free agents coming in, and these older players want to play out the season in order to get an easy championship. I mean, right now the Lakers and the Bucks would be sitting at in the one spot on both sides, with the Warriors being out of it. If you wait until if you just hold off the season, all of a sudden Guinness ends up over with the Warriors or wherever, and changes the landscape. Davis could be gone. Chris Paul and Mr. George could be leaving. They could all do buyouts. You don't know what the landscape is right now. You do, and you have to get it where the iron's hot, I guess. But
I also heard something else. They talking about that like they want to start the next year back into like December, like the 2021 season. Talking about starting in December.
Yeah. Well, they're going to try to push it back. They're talking about pushing it back. They've talked about pushing this back for years in order to because they're having a battle. When you're talking about championships and stuff like that, with the NFL being right there at about a similar time of when they start, you're probably losing a lot of fans to watching NFL games versus being able to watch an NBA game. So if you push it back and you start the season in December, you're catching the end of the playoffs and the beginning, and by the time you start there's nothing else to watch. So you probably collect yourself a lot of fans if you push it back to December.
Well, 2 points on that. One, the NBA finals are always around when the NHL finals are going on. So you got.
This is the U.S. Nobody watches hockey.
I
can say it. I'm Canadian.
Oh.
I'm the only Canadian that doesn't watch hockey.
So
they kick my ass out.
So you got that point, but you bring up the point of the Super Bowl. When the NBA is playing. What is always the big thing they always say? The NBA doesn't start. Yes, the season starts in October, but when does the NBA season really start? It starts in April, when it's 20 games left in the season, when everybody starts watching because they said the NBA season is too damn long.
Yeah, you're right. So you're just pushing it back and you're just collecting more fans. You're getting more views. You're not necessarily getting a lot of more, but you're going to be able to collect a lot more views, and a lot more attention will be drawn to the NBA. If you ever watch obviously we all watch ESPN and things like that. You
Only
watch it.
Show.
Yeah. You watch it. All the leads are always in the NFL, unless somebody really screws up. McFadden. You end up, their lead is always the NFL. You start in November, December, you start rolling. It starts getting back to the NBA, and the NBA becomes the prime sport at that point.
Well, but if you look at it though, if you say that, you push them back 2 months, all right. So right now, if they start in October, the NBA finals are in June. So if you push them back 2 months, that's middle of August, late August, right when NFL season's starting. You think the NBA would really want to go with that?
They'd probably end it. They probably would end this. I figure they probably end the NBA right before the start of football.
Yeah, because
right, it's probably in preseason, or when preseason starts, they'd probably have the championship games.
Yeah, because once NFL starts, the NBA is just going to be a losing battle.
It'd be a wash at that point.
Yeah.
But it's perfect timing. If you could end it right before the NFL starts, it'd be the perfect scenario for them. They would probably gain a lot financially from this situation.
Good point.
Akers, glad to see you got the power back on.
Yeah. All of a sudden I'm sitting here, I'm like, why you guys stop talking? And I'm like, next thing I hear click, click. I'm like, the hell?
We just didn't want you with us anymore.
That's what he gets for being in the dungeon.
So you guys sit outside like me. I never have any problems.
And it also coincides with the NCAA with being able to bring in their rookies and getting them into the seasons too. They can bring their rookies in, and after they get done with their college, they're one and done, and bring them in and jump them into the season versus having to wait.
Well, I knew that since I happen to have Clint here, I had to take full advantage of Clint Suds. Clint is one of the hosts on the Hot Tag Wrestling Corner. It's a show on Redline Radio on Saturdays, 1 to 3. And couldn't resist not talking a little WWE, Money in the Bank, coming up this weekend.
Is Trish Stratus going to be there?
I
got a major thing for that girl.
Had to be Canadian.
Totally. We caught a little bit of wind today about Jimmy Uso going to be out 6 to 9 months. Real interesting question. Ironically got proposed by my wife. Why don't they just let Jey Uso go into singles competition like they did with the Hardys? I don't see why not. Clint, what are your thoughts on that?
I think my take on that is I think they're going to be less hesitant to do it because the Usos is really like a tandem package. I never seen the Usos fight like solo since they came into WWE. And I don't think Vince could see one of them as a breakaway star. And if it is one, it'll be Jimmy compared to Jay. Jimmy. But Jimmy's the one with all the legal problems and everything like that. A la Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. So.
See, Suds, it's right up your alley. A lot of legal problems in the WWE.
So I think that could be the reason possibly too. And usually with the corona going on, if one person of your tag team hurt, they're not going to really we don't need the other one. I mean, he'd be okay. He got Naomi at home to get him the TLC and help him with his recovery. So he's fine. He's fine, but you probably won't see him or Naomi probably for them 6 to 9 months.
It isn't as like a crapshoot though with these guys when it comes down to breaking up tag teams. I mean, we watched over years and years of this, and you're almost like a 50-50 on whether or not they are successful when they break up. Half the time they're not successful.
Well, the successful ones were Jeff and Matt and Christian and Edge, and they tried it with the Dudleys, but it bombed miserably. It really did. But my own thought on it was that personally, Jay's the one who's pretty good on the mic. I mean, Jimmy usually likes to take control, but Jay is really solid with his mic work.
Jay's the charismatic one. Yeah.
You're forgetting about Booker T too.
And I thought, Booker T and Harlem Heat, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I thought Jay, I think Jay could really, honestly, I thought he could handle it. I mean, and a weird ordeal is that why not have Jay and Jeff Hardy, since Jeff is back, why not have the two of them start something, on SmackDown, because they're both there. So I think that all they've got to do is get a good storyline push to set it up. And I think those two wrestling, I think that they could really tell a solid story in the ring.
Can we bring back Lita?
No.
I'll be happy with that.
I think the reason why they don't break them up is they don't have many tag teams.
Well, like I
you
said,
look at it,
right now, for the
yeah.
6 to 9 months, Brother's out. I mean, unfortunately, it's like, oh, what? Since he's out injured, I have to stay out off of TV. All that
Yeah.
does is take down, it puts you in a very bad situation for your merchandise sales, and, you're off TV for so long. They've already, because of legal ordeals, they've already been off of TV long enough. They don't need, I mean, like I said, Jay could work something out where he could turn around and go heel and turn around and go with a matchup against Jeff Hardy for a couple months.
Couldn't they simply just send him into the ring every so often and have him beat the crap out of somebody? Start a bunch of fights and have conflict amongst a bunch of other superstars. And then when his brother recuperates, and they can just bring him back in.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like I said, I think having him heel and then having him against Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy is just starting to come back into the mold, and they're trying to pump Jeff up. Why not turn around and take this opportunity to have Jay versus Jeff?
Cocaine's a powerful drug.
Yeah, they're pushing Jeff because they don't want Jeff to leave how Matt did.
Well, Jeff's still got to fulfill the contract out. That's
yeah.
why.
So they said they're going to give him a big push. Maybe it might be a thing too, like with the New Day. The New Day said, well, if you try to break us up, we're all leaving. Maybe the Usos probably said something in terms like that. Like, no, you're not about to split us up as a tag team,
Well, like I said, I thought at least temporary, and so that he would still be on TV.
I mean,
Because I'm not a big fan. I don't think that the Forgotten Sons were the answer.
They were in the Corona. Basically, they basically bringing up people now due to the lack of bodies. Like the Forgotten Sons won't be there. Guys like Apollo Crews won't be getting the big of a push that he's getting. Like they just short on talent. All their big stars are either at home, quarantine. Like you ain't seen Orton, you ain't seen Rollins, KO. Well, not we seen Rollins. I mean, you ain't seen KO. You haven't seen like Becky Lynch lately in the last couple months. Most of them are just at home in quarantine, just waiting.
You saw Orton at WrestleMania, so he's probably going to take a couple weeks off for that match. And
Edge.
He has in his contract too that he got. It's like that Orton.
For him to come back, he probably said, "Hey, this is all the dates I'm going to work. I don't want to work anymore. If you have a problem with that, well, shove off." KO he injured his ankle.
He's got a busted up ankle.
Yeah, in WrestleMania, so he hasn't been on there. So some of these guys are have some injuries, but to go back, I remember a couple months ago when I forget who won the tag team belts, and the Revival, who I think was a great tag team in WWE, tweeted out there. He goes, "Oh, finally a tag team finally won the tag team belts instead of two people just getting put together and winning it." So I think the reason why they don't like to split up, I think hopefully the reason why they're doing this is they're realizing that they don't have that many tag teams, because you see Ricochet now with I forget what starting to form a tag team and all that. So they don't have many tag teams right now.
I mean, bring back the Killer Bees.
Oh, Hall and Nash, Outsiders.
Road Warriors, baby.
No.
What I'm not a fan of the Ricochet Cedric as a tag team. I liked both guys as individuals, more so as a tag team. I mean, if they're doing it just because they need the tag team echelon for Raw, okay, fine. But as a whole, they jumped it well before WrestleMania, putting these two guys together, and before all of this even started. And because I even questioned, I said, well, wait a second. Ricochet just got his butt kicked by Lesnar, and then it's like, boom, gone for a while. And it's like, come on. Cedric Alexander, they made a major push with Cedric Alexander. And then one night it's like, bye.
That's Vince. That's Vince. If Vince is consistent. He'll push the hell out of you, but he'll bury the hell out of you.
But
Well, look at the Roman Reigns thing right now. Did you notice? I guess I might have been paying a little too close attention. They edited out Roman Reigns out of the Money in the Bank
Yeah.
cash-ins. And I thought, what the heck? That was a little odd. And it's kind of weird that all of a sudden, well, Roman, because of health reasons, of course, isn't there. But I mean, to still edit him out of video, I thought that was kind of cool.
Because that's Vince mad that Roman Reigns let him know like 2 weeks advance that like 2 weeks before, like, oh, I ain't gonna be able to make Mania because of my health situation, which they said they were gonna find a way to write him out, but never did it. Again, that's the pettiness of Vince McMahon. Man, like, the man can't fight just because of the fact that, like, came back from battling leukemia. I mean, if Corona is really messing with he's autoimmune. I mean,
I mean, that's a legitimate issue. I mean, that was a clear legitimate issue.
Well, Vince McMahon seems to have has gone back to the days of Hulk Hogan and things like that, where he lost control over contracts, and these major stars were jumping from the WWE, or at that time the WWF, to the WCW, and lost a bunch of stars. And he's now got it in their contracts that he has complete control, and anybody that questions him, he's going to bury. So
and that's where AEW comes in. So because how many years? What, 15 years, maybe almost 20 years now, that Vince McMahon was the only player in town, so he can do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden AEW comes around, and Vince is shitting his pants, because now if the he doesn't give what his the wrestlers want, he knows they're going to go to there or New Japan or somewhere else. And so he has to start bending a little bit here and there for some of the wrestlers that he wants to keep around.
But their contracts usually read that they can't. They can't take their name with them, or they can't take their scenarios with them. That's how he's buried. That's how he buries wrestlers.
Right,
but make sure they can't take their persona with them when they go.
The name you're born with.
But the thing is
everything.
John Moxley went back, is over in AEW, and Moxley, that was him before WWE made him Dean Ambrose. He was John Moxley before he was Dean Ambrose. Now he's back to John Moxley, which is what he wanted to be. So the only thing is Vince has in those nice little contracts is, once your contract's up, you got 3 months. You got to wait until you turn around and jump on board with the competitor.
Yeah, he buries them. He buries anybody.
He's the king of that.
Yeah, but it's like that in any business, though, because I know if I quit my job, I can't work for anybody in the paint industry for 6 months. So it's any job, any anything like that. But yeah, so now Vince is shitting his pants now, because there's another player there that he didn't think was going to come up, and all of a sudden they're starting to look a little bit better and better.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes said, "Here, Vince, hold my beer."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of beer,
you're welcome. Real quick, rundowns. Right now, I guess it looks like they're going to do both sets of tag team matches during the kickoff show, if I've got this right, and then we only get 3 matches, which are all the championship SmackDown Women's Championship match, the Universal Championship match, and the WWE Championship match, as our primary matches leading up to the Strange. Now that they've announced it as a simultaneous
Money in the Bank ladder match,
simultaneous corporate men's and women's climb the corporate ladder match. I mean, can we come up with any other weird, odder, extra names to make the title 19 words long? And who's getting thrown off the roof. That's all. That's what.
Yeah, somebody's getting thrown off a roof. It's gonna be a roof spot or close to it.
Somebody's got to get thrown off this roof. If you have not seen or heard, the premise is you're starting on the ground floor. Bryce has already even said, so somebody's going to get their head through the door. And I thought somebody could go through the front door. Sure. So you start on the ground floor and fight your way up 7 floors. I think we're going to get this as, I don't know if they could do it live. I mean, I think this might be kind of like the WrestleMania Undertaker pre-taped section of a match, because I think it's going to be kind of done that way. I got this weird feeling about it that it's like some of it may be live, but some other portions may be pre-taped.
Probably when they get to the roof.
So your question on that one should be, who is your McMahon out of all that?
Who's
Or
what?
Mick Foley. Who's your Mick Foley out of all that? Because that's the whole thing with Mick Foley and all that. He didn't care getting thrown off the cage, going through the cage. That was one of the other things him and Undertaker had the agreements with. And like you said before, that was all trained on how to do it. And he was the only one that would stretch the distance. I'm like, you know me, I'm not up to the day's wrestling history. I've kind of stepped away from everything I've done and starting to get a little bit back into it for you. But that's what it was. I mean, no one does what they did back in the 90s when Undertaker and Mankind, Cactus Jack, whatever the 7 faces were.
I think I've got your Huckleberry.
Dude,
here.
love.
I think I've got your Huckleberry here. And the weirdness about this is that with the guys and the girls fighting at the same time, you know that they're going to kind of get into each other's way and knocking each other's ladders over or whatever. But I think the Huckleberry who could go for the roof fall is King Corbin. I can truly see Corbin going for that, because I think, I mean, he's a very good story, as much as it's like, oh yeah, everybody loves to hate him. And that's what he wants. I mean, he doesn't want, he wants to be the bad guy. Back in the day, the bad guys never had any merch.
Hey, yo.
And you were
I like that one.
Hey, yo. You weren't supposed to be loved. And so you're not selling merch, and everybody hates you and wants to spit on you. Corbin has 100% stepped up and taken that to the next level.
I can remember last year sitting at a campground and the kids were watching Stomping Grounds. Mm-hmm. And Corbin was, him and Rollins were going at it. I'm like, man, that Corbin is real. I just didn't like him. 6 months later, I loved the mother. I think he just grew as a heel, and and he's just a natural heel. And once he won the King of the Ring, it was his balls to the wall. I'm just going to do whatever I can because I'm the biggest heel right now. And I grew into liking him as a wrestler. And he's not a bad wrestler too. It's not like, he's a good heel, but he's a horrible wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler at all.
No, and coming out from the NFL,
he's a good wrestler. Yeah, he definitely is. For a big guy too, he can take bumps and he can make a small guy hit him and make it look like it hurts like hell.
Like you said, coming out of the NFL, Austin, even Brock Lesnar went out, tried the NFL, came back. I mean, it's not bad that a couple NFL guys, Goldberg even,
Goldberg sucks,
right?
Yes.
I'm just saying, as a whole,
F him.
An NFL guy is not a bad guy. And with Corbin getting out of the NFL early, I think it just helped him. This has definitely helped him. I mean, he couldn't have made this kind of career or even that kind of money in the NFL, not for playing a lineman.
I hated Goldberg when he was in WCW. Fuck him.
You made a comment or made the noise that, hey, yo, I had a run-in with Kevin Nash when I was 16 years old.
He's from Detroit.
Yep. I know. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I had a little driver's license that got me into a club called The Strip. I wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
No, I don't look big on this screen, but I'm 6'1" and I weigh about 220 pounds. And I was at Hit the Strip and someone said something, and I tried to act tough, and I turned around, and there that motherfucker was. And I did this, head straight up, went, oh shit. And he looked at me, he says, I don't think you belong here, young man. And I think I said, I'm like, you're right, I don't. I'm gonna leave. And I walked my happy ass right out that, well, let's say not walk, I ran. Dude, that's a big ass dude. I ran like a little schoolgirl out that door. I told my buddy Mike, I said, dude, we're out. I'm driving. You want to try to walk from Detroit to Holly, go right ahead, but I'm leaving.
Suds pulled a big old Ric Flair. Whoa! Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
absolutely.
What did you woo?
Right, when you're 6'1" and you're face to face with the dude's belly button, you know it's time to leave.
You sure it was his belly button?
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It was literally a frightening look. I mean, when you have to look straight up to see someone's face, and you're 6'1", that's a scary proposition right there, boy.
Vinny Vegas.
Yeah, that was one of the most unpleasant experiences I've had in my lifetime.
Clint, predictions for who gets the cases. For the guys, we've got Daniel Bryan, Aleister Black, Rey Mysterio, Corbin, Otis, and AJ Styles.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all pick. I'm gonna hold my picks off. Tomito with Rob on Saturday. But I will predict one thing though.
Yeah.
How much you bet we see a Nia Jax Otis run in this match though?
Oh my gosh. Oh jeez. Nice call. Good call. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Yep.
They gonna run to each other.
It's like, wait a minute, can the roof boom? Sonic boom.
Yeah.
So since the crowd's not involved, how do they? So they go with the same storyline with they already picked the winner.
What do you mean?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You said before,
They filmed it all.
back in the last couple of years, is usually the crowd is usually who gets the most pumped up as the winner. Since there's no crowd, how does the Hawk beef up his history on keeping that muscular tone going?
They filmed all this ahead of time, so it's like,
Yeah.
it's whoever they pick. It's like whoever he feel like can get the most over.
So looking at it, we're going to be saying AJ Styles.
Please.
No. AJ wasn't even supposed to be in it. Yeah, Apollo Crews was actually supposed to be in this matchup. AJ wasn't even part of this pay-per-view. As much as I think it'll be Daniel Bryan, but I mean, I'd like to see the Aleister Black push a little harder. And that is, I mean, as far as my pick goes, I'd really like to see Aleister Black. I am getting to be a big fan. The first time I saw him pop up when, you know, the nice story about Triple H telling Aleister Black that, hey, we got this little thing that we're going to use for the Undertaker, but nobody's using it. You want it? And he goes, yeah. You know, and for the Undertaker to even sit there and go, that is very cool. You know, you got the thumbs up, and it's like, yes, that is awesome. And I love the guy's entrance. The guy's presence is phenomenal. And not to take that away from AJ, but sorry, Aleister Black is, I mean, it is a really, really cool character. And that's who I would pick as far as the guys. The girls, I think they're pushing for Baszler.
It's two options in this one.
Yeah, I'd like to see, as I think the downside is, and the scapegoat out of it is Dana Brooke, because she always is. But I think Lacey Evans would be my pick. I think that they're looking to get a more solid push for Lacey and getting her into the mainstay picture for these titles. I mean, they give her one shot so far already at it, and I think having the Money in the Bank contract and not cashing in right away would be very smart, and just let it linger on a little bit longer, especially when I think whoever wins both cases, that they will stretch it out until they can get fans back in and crowds back in front of them. I think both briefcases will be held on for a little while.
It's always depends on who Vince McMahon wants as well. I mean, he controls everything. I mean, there's a reason why those referees have microphone or earpieces. And if he wants somebody to win, that's who's going to win. That referee's there to make sure.
Yeah.
We lost Clint. Or is it me?
No, he's out.
Or he's doing his impression of Darth Vader.
We already know who this kid is.
We fell asleep.
I agree with you on that.
He's still there.
There he
is.
goes.
Oh, I just got kicked out. I was like, what the?
It's like you were locking up a little bit. We're like, oh no, where did he go?
You still are too.
Yeah, I just got kicked out. I'm like, what the hell?
Looking at all these
Man, am I
pictures, if you're
still-
gonna go by the women's, I mean, it's Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke looks like, you know, the person they're gonna be climbing with.
Well, Asuka she's done. She's had so many damn.
I was thinking that too. I was like, the last couple of weeks that I watched, it just seems like she's the storyline of the mid wrestler. You know, there's no
Last couple
I got
of weeks.
something.
It's been like
I
the
got
last
something
like
about
7
that.
8 months.
Well,
I got something
once again,
about that.
I stopped watching it back in 2005.
He is sold on Oscar. He said Oscar's his like COVID star. Like he loves Oscar now. So can he make that jump and put her up there over Baszler? I mean, it's gonna be either Baszler or Oscar. One of them two. Maybe Nia Jax probably have her torment Becky Lynch with that briefcase. It's gonna be a tough one. No.
And that's what I brought up with George earlier today. I said, why isn't Becky Lynch wrestling?
Because of the whole COVID thing, they gonna throw her around sporadically now. Her thing, when she loses the title, she's gonna take a vacation. Vince probably like, well, this is your way to take your vacation now. We're not gonna throw you on TV as much. Have your vacation there now. But she's due to take a vacation though.
Yeah.
She already admitted it. Her and Seth gonna take some time off.
Right. They were supposed to have their honeymoon, and it was supposed to be after WrestleMania, but of course, with everything going on, you know, they needed them to stick around a little bit longer. So that makes sense.
Is that
I think that's why they didn't pull the
sign for
trigger.
pregnancy?
Yeah, probably. I had some Irish kids around.
I mean, you're saying that she hasn't fought in the last 3 months.
No.
No, she has.
She wrestled at WrestleMania.
Mania. That's the last time she fought.
But they have the SmackDown Championship for women on there, but they don't have the Raw Championship women. So that's why I was just curious why they're not having her wrestle.
Well, I don't think there was, outside of Baszler, there really isn't any storyline. Like they very smartly put Tamina and Bailey going together, which, I mean, it was a good move. You know, but going for needing Baszler for
The daughter of a murderer. Not her fault.
they really needed her for this Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah, they did.
Well, and
I like it too because it sets up her and Sasha. Perfect.
And the Charlotte Flair Becky Lynch storyline is done with.
Well, that's why they bumped her to NXT.
Yeah, exactly. They just need to bury that, you know, maybe in a couple years, since they haven't wrestled each other in a while, maybe start bringing that back. But don't just keep putting them out there over and over and over again.
That sounds like the Lita and Trish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, nobody's allowed to talk bad about Trish. Just an FYI, we leave her alone. That's my. She's
I got
off
Trish's
limits.
title when she lost it to Lita.
We gotta talk.
I was trying to get Lita to sign it, but she just walked right by me. I was so mad.
Oh.
Listen, is there DNA on that thing? Come on, now let's talk.
Next.
Sorry, man.
Remember, they don't wear it across their waist.
Yeah, we'll move on to the NFL. Yeah, sure.
So
I want to go off script anytime when we talk about Trish Stratus.
So
Hello, favorite women.
So the National Foosball League is going to start up amid the COVID-19. What are your thoughts on the Calgary Stampeders? No.
Oh,
That center would just kick it straight. We wouldn't have a problem with the goals.
Actually, we'll finish up here real quickly with the WWE Championship match. Thoughts, McIntyre or Rollins?
McIntyre.
I think it's McIntyre too. Rollins it'll be a very good fight. I think it'll be a good 25 minutes at least. Rollins will put
25?
McIntyre over.
What are you, 5?
You've only got 3.
Holy shit.
You're only getting 3 matches out of this deal. They're going to be fighting a while.
Dude,
Nope.
They matches gonna be like an hour.
That's what I was going to say. That's going to be an hour.
Well, I think they're putting almost a good 45 minutes for the latter matches easily. And they're going to have to really push about 25 to 30 for each of the other matches, not counting all the promos and everything else that they got to put in between it all.
Really?
Bailey and Tamina, do we find? I think Sasha Banks interferes in this match. That's my call out on it. And I don't think that it's for Bailey. I think there's a backstabbing done. I think actually Tamina wins this.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
I think Bailey's ass looks too big in those damn spandex.
Yes. Big Booty Bailey. That's what I call her. Big Booty Bailey. Yeah.
Bailey's a cutie. She is.
Oh, I didn't say she wasn't.
No, a lot of people feel that way. I don't know why. They're like, what?
No,
But
but
don't know. Bailey's a cutie. Hold on.
yeah. Oh no, I agree. I like the Big Booty Bailey. It's fine by me. I have no problem with that. None at all. Are we getting the Fiend Bray Wyatt or the regular Bray Wyatt for this match? Do we know? Or are
They put Bray Wyatt, so it might be normal Bray Wyatt, because they usually put the Fiend when it's like him as the Fiend.
I agree.
So it probably gonna be anything Strowman probably gonna retain. They'll probably run it back with the Fiend probably.
for SummerSlam?
Yeah, probably. Since we ain't got no Reigns.
Are they strictly going out of Florida now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Strictly out of Florida.
Well, yes and no, because the ladder match is in Connecticut, so
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting. Yeah,
Are they opened it up for them to do that?
it's his own private building. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's private property.
But they got on the jet and got over there.
Yep, put them all on his private jet and flew them
Come over there.
They start in
yeah,
the building and they got to end up on the building on top of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Plus, he can say there is workers, so they're essentials, so they can.
That's essential now. You're right.
Yep, there's-
Apparently.
I thought that was only essential in Florida.
a little
Wait, George, I got something coming through my headset. Hold on. Okay. All right. Kelly just said you're spending the night on the couch for the Bailey comments. Thank you.
It'll be well worth it. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a general policy amongst me and George's wives that we have at least one WWE woman that we get a pass on.
Yep.
We all know who mine is, but we now know
Who's
George.
yours?
Mine?
Luna. Luna.
Shit.
Oh, is it Trish? He said Luna.
Whoa.
It's tuna.
Whoa.
He likes to.
You haven't figured it out yet.
Oh no, I know who it is.
It's China.
Oh, shit. 6 feet
at
under.
least you
That's
could.
not
At least you can pick somebody live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably Trish. He like his Canadian probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look
he,
at
did
look.
like, he did like Sable for a while. I know that for sure.
He always calls.
Oh, the hands? Oh, hell yeah.
He always calls Tua tuna, so he goes Luna and tuna.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
no.
Zolt, come on, you gotta add something to that.
The NFL, right?
Listen, everybody. If I can't pronounce their names, I'm coming up with something different. That's just the way it's gonna be.
We've noticed.
If they don't like it, pick a fucking baby book. Take a page. Point.
Oh, or they could be like porn stars. Their street name and their dog's name.
It's better than some of these other names.
Oh.
I mean, Jesus, come on now.
All right. Since we're strolling in and Suds brought up Tua anyway, why don't we just roll right into that nice little article that I swear quarantine's making people stupid. Article that says Dan Marino needs to give up the number 3 for Tua to turn around and wear.
He can kiss my
Random.
ass.
Who said
Totally
that?
random and no.
Oh, random idiots on the Twitter accounts who want to
Why?
start a bunch of crap.
Damn
Yep.
millennials.
Yes, it was.
They really say he should give up 13?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, Dallas forced 88 on CD Lamb. He said he ain't
Not
want to
giving it
wear it.
up. Two was going to wear number 1. They're going to keep the number 13 retired. But when I was reading
Yeah.
that story, I was like, who in their right mind? I mean, that's just like saying, I'm going to go play in Chicago Bulls and Jordan should give up the number 23 so I could play it.
Yeah.
Well, but correct me if I'm wrong, did it say in there that Tua is requesting this, or is this just
Tua
random?
requested to wear number 13, and he asked Dan Marino to unretire it so he could wear it.
And Dan said, fuck off.
Right?
As he should.
Right. You ain't even playing this year. How you gonna request my number?
Yeah, that is the let me bring this into you guys.
Oh, it's funny.
Here it is right here for you.
George is being all technical again.
Oh, you got me. I hope the sound doesn't come on.
The Orlando Sentinel. Dan Marino should unretire number 13, give it to Tua.
Well, yeah, but it's the quote from Tua is that they should not retire the jersey and give it to him. Wait, hang on.
No, that's the crazy part is it says in the title it should, but then he said
Right.
should not right here.
All right, scroll down.
And I'm like, okay, the dude is clearly off his rocker,
Stop.
and he's like, oh, the Dolphins shouldn't have to.
Of
But
course,
yeah.
Tua would never ask to wear it because he's much too classy and humble for that.
This is what's called clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Tua was asked about it. I'm not too worried about what number I have. I understand it's retired and it should be. So this is just some random writer that's trying to stir up something.
Yeah, because he used GOAT, gracious of all time, for one. So it's like, really?
Yeah,
He had to hit a deadline for something, so he just came up with this damn story.
yeah. So you're right. This is clickbait.
It's
clickbait.
clickbait. First of all, he's not even the greatest of all time. I wouldn't say he's even. He ain't even top 3 at this point.
Did anybody pick him in our draft, George?
Absolutely, somebody picked him in the draft.
No.
Dan Marino was picked. Absolutely,
Was he?
absolutely. He definitely wasn't picked first.
Well,
but
I
he
knew
was
it wasn't
definitely
Akers.
picked.
No, but he was picked.
Yeah.
He
He
still
was-
was. He still was. Picked.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in a hurry to pick Marino.
There was only
It's
8 of
such a-
us.
Well, it was such a long time ago, dude. I don't remember what I did yesterday. Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's why.
Doesn't remember what he did yesterday.
I think he was picked like 3rd or 4th.
Dude, I was putting more hard work in at the campground than I was at regular work.
Okay. Projected win totals for every NFL team after the draft. Yay or nay on these? Chicago Bears 8.5.
They play the Lions twice.
Does 8.5 stand for they tie?
There's 2
Yeah, I
wins
know,
right
I hate,
there.
I hate the 0.5. What the hell is that?
Right.
I know.
It's a stupid. It's
Is that a
stupid
draw?
Vegas.
It's
It's a tie. We've
That's what I'm
had
thinking.
We've had multiple
the
ties
under.
every year. Every season we have at least one tie. So there's the half.
They
But
gotta
you
put
can't
that
have a
half
half
in
a
there so
victory.
that way if the team goes 9 or 8, then that half decides the point unless a tie actually really happens. But
But you can't have a half a victory. So why even have 8.5?
I think it's the
Steelers
biggest
did when
thing.
they lost to the
Yeah,
Browns.
I know
but
it's
I
a
mean,
Vegas thing.
A
Trust me,
tie is a half a victory.
yes.
That's
No,
what
it's
it's
not.
put down at. Yes, that's what they put it down as.
Mm-mm.
So is it a yay or an A for 8.5 with the Bears?
That's a nay.
I'm taking
Nah.
the under.
I'm saying yay. They play the Lions twice.
Okay.
There's 2 wins. You only have to win 6.5 at that point in time. So
It's just their quarterbacks for me that just.
You gotta click on the story, George.
Yeah, I know it's a left and right.
Oh,
Cincinnati Bengals 5.5.
I say more.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
I give it a yeah. That mean they didn't have AJ Green like none last year.
It's gonna
Remember,
be-
this is without Dalton starting. This is putting Burrow right up on the horse.
It's gonna
Well,
be
yeah, he's
about.
already better than Dalton. So yeah.
It's gonna be about 6 or 7. It's not gonna be too
You
much,
say
but
that, he
I
didn't play.
say 6, 7.
there is no
I
evidence
would
at
say
this point in
6,
time
yeah.
that says AJ Green plays.
Well, I don't know. The schedule comes out what, next week?
No, it comes out Thursday.
Yeah.
AJ Green may not play for them.
So we're gonna. All right. So hold on. I'll write all this
Ooh.
down. We're gonna.
No, wait, 'cause
we're
Joe
gonna take
Mixon
this
holding
down,
out
and
too,
then next
though.
week we're gonna talk about it again.
Joe Mixon holding out too though.
Yeah, Mixon's holding out too.
He may not have a wide receiver to throw to.
And
No,
John Ross has not been signed yet.
He's got they just drafted a guy, Jefferson, wasn't it, from LSU?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, that
No, they
was,
didn't get Jefferson.
no, they
Who'd
didn't get Jefferson. That was Minnesota.
Who'd they get? They did their first pick in the second round. They got a top-notch receiver.
Was it Higgins?
Oh, T. Higgins. That's what it was.
I think it was T. Higgins.
T. Higgins from Clemson. He's going to be a good number 2.
Yeah.
Like I said last week, I think Cincinnati had the best draft class in the AFC North.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm gonna say
I told you what I thought of last week.
Suds.
They don't win 10 wins
Bite your
next
tongue.
year. If they
Stop.
don't
You're
have
gonna
10
put me
wins
on
next year,
mute, aren't you?
they're
You motherfucker.
8.5. This
Oh,
should
there
be
it
a
is.
yay. It
There's
should
the
be
mirror.
up.
Should be the over.
Should be over.
This is
That
the
should be
make or
over.
break season for him. If he don't do it, like we were all been saying before, if he doesn't put them in the playoffs this season, he's gonna find a new job.
I still remember.
Akers, you said you're writing these down?
Yeah.
Okay, put me down for the under for Cincinnati. I never said anything.
Yeah, Cincinnati, yeah.
I remember in 2007, I was sitting in Reno during a bowling tournament. Was sitting at a casino, and it was 5.5 wins for the Browns. And I was going to put $200 down. I never did because I wanted to save my money for gambling. Next couple of days. I still kick myself in the ass for not betting on them. That was the year they went 10-7 or 10-6. Pissed me off.
They still missed the playoffs that year.
I don't care. The over and under was 5.5.
Right.
Yeah,
That's,
but what were the odds for that?
that's the Derek Anderson
Oh.
years. Oh my God.
I don't even remember anymore.
Can I go push on that one?
I'm gonna go over.
Wait. You're bouncing around. What are we doing? You guys talk about one thing and jump to another. So Cleveland, you're all agreeing that they should go 8 and higher.
I'm going over. They should
I'll
go
take the
over.
over.
I think they
Over.
win. I think they win 9 games.
I said 9 or
Ninth
10
over.
last week. Yep.
I said that's what I'm saying. They have to be in the playoffs.
They're drafting a quarterback next year.
Who
Oh,
called
they
the
trade for
Andy Dalton?
Aaron.
Who called Andy Dalton to the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah. Some lucky
Who called it?
son of a. I still
Somebody
can't
apparently.
believe that he called that. I'm still. It still baffles me that he called that.
Here's the reason why I thought that. Well, there's 2 reasons. One, I heard this reason earlier this week, but the other reason was, my reason was. So say New England called him and said, "Hey, we want you to start." Okay, how much are you going to give me? $3 million. Well, I don't know if I want $3 million to be a starter in New England. All of a sudden, Jerry Jones comes around and says, "Hey, look at here right now. I could give you $7 million to be a backup to Dak Prescott, and you can stand up on the sideline and make $7 million. And if we need you, you can be there." Here's the kicker, though. Where does he live during the offseason? Dallas Fort Worth. So he's making $7 million as a backup and not be hit like he used to be in the last 7-8 years. Play at home where he doesn't have to travel that far to go to practice every damn day and make more being a backup than he might be as a starter.
I think you're on the assumption that Prescott is going to play.
Oh, he's going to
Because
play.
He hasn't signed that tenure.
Oh
They
no.
put
No, it's franchise tag. He didn't he
franchise
sign a
tag.
franchise?
It didn't work for the who got
No.
franchise tag recently. Didn't say he did. Bell, and sat his ass out the entire season, and then
Oh,
they
he
ended
got
up
paid-
letting him go.
But you
Here's
got
the
paid
here's the
next year.
kicker on that, Ryan. So I joked about it, like when you said that, and I said that Dalton does that. He could be the starter in Dallas. Today's news said that if Dalton was to get the Dallas Cowboys to the playoffs and win a Super Bowl, he gets an extra $7 million.
Well, here's another question though. I
$7
was
million he
thinking-
won't be getting.
I was thinking about this. Did Green Bay set a precedence here with them drafting Josh Jones with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback? The reason being is, yes, you have this established quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer. I would think everybody would agree he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you draft Josh Jones in the first round. First round quarterbacks should be playing. So all of a
Josh-
sudden,
Jordan.
Josh
Love.
Jordan.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm like,
Jordan-
who's
Jordan
that?
Love.
Jordan Love. I'm sorry. Jordan Love. I apologize.
J-Lo.
So you draft Jordan Love, who's a first rounder, should be playing. So did Green Bay send a precedence with everybody else saying, well, if they drafted someone to be the backup who should really be starting on other teams, why can't we sign a good backup who could be probably playing and starting for other teams as well?
Well, they didn't set a precedent. They've done this before. This is
Yeah.
identical. This is
Yeah.
identical to what
Aaron
they
Rodgers did it to Brett
Aaron
Favre.
Rodgers to Brett Favre.
But
Favre's contract was up when they did it.
No,
Right.
Favre
No,
had
he wasn't.
2 more years.
No, he was the backup for like 3 years to Favre, I think.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
it
he's
didn't
got a
get
couple more years.
it didn't get too much traction with it. If you really looked at it, they just it's this heir apparent to Brett Favre whenever he leaves. They're right away when Jordan Love got drafted, they said, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers can be traded to the Bears, or he can be traded to the Broncos." So I think the Packers put something in,
It's clickbait.
ball rolling. No,
No, because
No.
we had
Can't be traded.
right. Clint knows in our red line chat, this actually came up about Aaron Rodgers
Getting
having
traded.
issues with the management, and that there could be there's smoke there, and where there's smoke, there's
Right.
fire.
Yeah.
And that this logistically could really happen over the
And you're
next
going to
couple of weeks.
He's been upset. He's been upset with the organization for the last 3-4 years. Like
Who's been upset? Because that's the
Rodgers.
question. Rodgers actually came out and said he was upset?
It
Because
behind
I
the
mean, this
scenes,
is a lot of
yeah.
talk. Everybody's been saying, "Oh, this, got to be Aaron Rodgers. He's got to be upset." So Rodgers actually came out and said, "I'm upset with this deal."
What was
He
it?
ain't. Oh, say that again.
So Rodgers is the one who actually came out and said, for word, "I'm upset with this pick."
Oh, Jordan Love pick?
Yeah,
No, he ain't say he was upset with it, but
that's
he
what
put a
I'm
little
saying.
message.
This is all CNN talk.
No.
I can see him being upset with the direction the team has been going the past year or two, because the decisions they seem to be making don't benefit him
No,
at all. But
He
at the
needs
same
receivers.
time, you're
Right.
telling
He
me
wanted
that
them to give
there's-
him a receiver. A
Right.
quarterback.
But and I completely understand if he's not happy. But here's the thing: you were telling me that there's smoke, and a team might eat $51 million this year.
There's some teams with some cap. There's some teams with the money
No.
that will eat it. But the Packers might have to take some of that too, though.
if you trade him to another
No,
team, that other team has to eat the money.
No, the Green Bay Packers trade him. They have $51 million in dead space
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what
for
you're saying.
this year.
Like the bonuses and all that shit.
Yes.
Yes, I see.
He is not getting traded.
No.
But
I mean, I took it as they drafted Love for insurance purposes. And I was telling a buddy of mine, we literally just had this conversation today, and I was telling George about it today too. I took it as Love was drafted for insurance purposes to get him to train behind Rodgers. Now, he said, don't expect Rodgers to actually teach him anything.
I agree.
Yeah, Rodgers came out and said, Rodgers said he ain't beating me yet. That's what he said.
Can we also
Like,
look at the
okay
fact
then.
that they've done that? The NFL, if you watch all the teams, whenever it's like a season-ending moment when their starting quarterback goes down, and
Yeah.
having an outstanding backup when you think you're a contender is a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, Prescott goes down, you got Dalton.
Baker goes down, we got Case.
Well, and that's why I go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers
I
not
wouldn't
drafting
go
a
that
quarterback.
The Saints, the Breeze go
I'm
down, they
serious.
got Winston, I guess.
Winston, he'll throw to the coach for an interception.
He's
But
gonna throw it to Lattimore, and he's gonna be on the
did you-
sideline.
I was gonna say, did
Yeah.
you see the Lattimore tweet?
Yeah, I
But
saw
no,
that.
Lattimore's gonna
that
have to take a
was-
pay cut now because there's no more bonus.
That's when Jameis Winston left the barn door open really wide, and Lattimore drove a tank in there.
Dude, I had to get off a ledge to read that, and I'm like, what is he trying to say here? And I had to I was looking at it, and I'm like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me! I had to get off a ledge. I was painting when I was reading that.
but if you look at the teams that are competing for playoff spots, they have decent to good backup quarterbacks. Just like if the Pittsburgh
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia Steelers, do you think they can go another year or two with Ben after he just had a major arm surgery? Why?
Look what happened to their season when he went down. They had Duck Dynasty at quarterback.
And that's what I'm saying. To me, not for them not trying to draft or trade back up into the first round or their first pick in the second round to go after a quarterback. I was just shocked because they have no one to back him up.
Yeah.
Cam Newton's still out there.
Cam
Cam's
said he's not gonna be a backup.
Exactly.
Cam said he want to go where he gonna start. He said he not about to be he ain't about to sit on no bench.
Toronto Argonauts are looking for.
Well, if he wants to get paid this year,
he might have to.
Cam's gonna get signed. It's just a matter of
Somebody's
fact,
gonna sign him.
Wait
till one of these quarterbacks in preseason. If one of these starting quarterbacks go down in preseason, look at Cam. Somebody will probably bring him in.
He's gonna get signed before the season starts.
Who?
That's the question. I mean, that's what we all put multiple teams up there who's fitted for him. But I mean, I think he's just literally just going to sit out and let everybody just ride everything through the draft. And then when the offseason comes up, when the actual real offseason comes up, I think that's when he's going to be starting to get snapped at again. Because I think a lot of these teams, like we're going to joke around with New England. New England's going to ride Suds for a long time.
You mean Stidham?
Stidham, yeah.
Suds.
I'm Suds.
He retired last year.
I retired a long time ago.
He loving that Stidham
There's
kid
multiple
too. He
teams.
sold on
I
him.
mean, it could be like Denver. Denver all of a sudden could be like they're going to ride lockout right now and let them keep going and keep saying what's going to happen. I mean, they've already said it. They're going to ride him and stay there.
It's first week of May and nobody knows what is going on this summer. So there is no hurry on anybody.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's what I said. With the COVID-19 happening, there's nothing. No one can practice. No one can actually show what's going to happen.
But if you look at the NFL, they're thinking everything's going to be fine because they're putting out the schedule Thursday for
which they should. They should.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
should.
agree.
Every
I
sport
agree.
from here on out should keep moving out like it's going to.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Because if you don't, you're just going to cause more problems for yourself. It's like the NBA is trying to get it started back up.
Right.
The MLB is trying to get something going because they know this is, obviously not going to stay around forever.
Speaking of MLB, did anybody watch the Korean baseball league this morning?
No.
I didn't watch it.
No, I missed
I've
it.
heard of people who were watching.
Well, I was wondering if anybody did.
No, that was a word.
We are desperate.
I am. I
ain't
almost.
that desperate.
But it's at 1 o'clock.
Wait, that the one Tim Tebow in? Oh, that might be the Philippines.
1 o'clock in the
Tebow's
morning.
in one of them.
1 o'clock in the morning. I almost was like, no.
That's well. I mean, hey.
But
tired of watching repeat games of everything.
Yes,
Absolutely.
they did replay the game like about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon just so everybody can see it, So
what else they got going?
Exactly. Like I said, the National Foosball Tournament is going on.
Right.
I could be competitive in that one. Foosball.
All right, gents, our
Those
time
flippers
is
hurt like hell, man.
our time is definitely running. We definitely I see Ricky's now watching too, so thanks again, Ricky. We really appreciate you coming on tonight. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Really absolutely appreciate that. That was an absolute blast. Thanks again. Clint, thank you very much for jumping in and joining us and talking boxing and a little bit of WWE. I know that you've got to keep everything close to the vest for Saturday. Go ahead and
Yeah.
so go ahead, please drop your plugs, sir.
Oh, okay. So Redline Radio Saturday 1 to 3 is Hot Tag Wrestle Corner with me and Rob. We're going to talk the whole week of wrestling. Then, of course, we got the predictions. We're going to go into Championship on the Line, which I held since NXT, the last NXT that they had fans. So hoping to keep on holding to that. So that's it. Redline Radio, you know, come through, watch, share. You know, I appreciate y'all for having me on with y'all, man. Love the atmosphere. Got to do this again. Definitely want to do this again.
Absolutely, anytime.
Y'all welcome on the show. Y'all welcome on the show anytime. You know, we'll love to have y'all. The more people, the better. You know.
As long as you talk NWO with me, that's all I care.
You come on there. Come on there. We talk NWO. We talk about NWO at least once a show. Because somebody gets bought up from NWO. We did a list of everybody that was in NWO.
Best tag team name was Vicious and Delicious. Buff Bagwell and Scott Norton. He's vicious, and I'm
delicious.
Might be that.
I
You know what?
Shirt.
We might make that on Mount Rushmore. We're gonna make that one of our Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore NWO members not named Hogan, Nash,
yes,
Hall, and Wolfpack. Like the was. Oh yeah, speaking of that, we are doing a Mount Rushmore too. For
And
Mount
then don't
Rushmore's
forget about
favorite
Big
cash
Papa
in the
Pump.
bank.
Is your hookup?
Yeah.
Big Papa Pump.
His drug dealer was his hookup.
That's why Suds likes him.
He doing better too because I know
That's
he
he
that
wasn't
was a
on
good name to
steroids.
go to jail with too.
Y'all know his son's like play for Baltimore, like the fullback.
That's Rick.
No,
Steiner.
Rick Steiner, not
Yeah, Rick
Scott
Steiner.
Steiner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we have a good show. Mount Rushmore is Money in the Bank cash-ins. So
That'll be a good one.
that's four of who cashed their bad boys in.
Right? I'm looking forward to that because I heard you guys talking about that last weekend. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch a couple of these.
Yeah, I know they're doing like a little marathon or like what's the name? I already got I got 3 for sure. I'm touring on 4.
Well, thank you again. I really do appreciate you jumping in and joining us tonight. Like I said, absolute blast. Thank you. And like again, anytime you'd like to jump in, just text me.
Oh yeah, thank you all. I say y'all welcome to join the show anytime, man. We talk NWO, man. We got you on that. Anything y'all want to talk about? So if you want to come on and talk about Trish, we'll talk about Trish.
I was willing to talk about Trish, baby. Always.
Look at that.
Why-
Kid. He just you can't wipe off his face.
Why does his shirt keep rising up? I don't know why.
Yeah, I said we talk about anything, wherever y'all want to talk about, we go ahead and talk about, man. You like Trish, everybody know I'm a fan of the man, you know, so I mean, I gotta troll Dave all the time because he can't stand Becky Lynch, so I have to troll him like, with something Becky-ish wearing. Yeah, that's it though, man. I said thank y'all for having me, man.
You're absolutely
it, man.
welcome. Absolutely welcome. Thanks again. We're gonna turn around and I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna run through the commercials one more time and keeping my fingers crossed the audio stays on with us. But
I do want to say before we go,
big news. You want to hit it?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Oh, the biggest news of all. We're sliding into Wednesday.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah.
We are sliding into
I was
Wednesday.
actually, before we say it real quick, I want to say that everybody knows all the sports histories. Dave Shula, we lost this morning.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Don Shula. You said you
Yeah.
listened. But
Yes.
Don Shula, I want to say, one of the best coaches that was in the NFL era, passed away. We all loved him. We all watched most of the memories of everything he's done, and one of the best coaches in the NFL history of ever.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The
Winning
only-
his coach of all time.
But
Yep.
going with what the dueling aces are, we're on Tuesday night, 8 to 11. Well, we just got word that Redline's got a Wednesday night master available. Is going to hand it right over to us. So we're going to switch from Tuesday. We're going to go to Wednesday, right in the middle
Hump
of
day.
the week on Hump Day.
I get my ass hairs waxed on Wednesdays nights, so I can't make
That's
it.
fine.
I'm
You
sorry.
still look ugly anyways.
Thank you.
But you still miss some. I don't know if you need to put more extra on.
Be jealous that I can grow a beard out and you can't.
That's true. It's literally been for a month, and it's as far as it gets anymore.
Dude, I just shaved this like last week and it's already starting to come back to thick. A lot more gray, I can tell you that much.
No.
Oh, you young whippersnappers. Suds is over there going, "Psh, I've had this gray for, oh, sorry. Yeah.
What's Gray's head?
27.
Wait. How old are
I
you,
got-
son?
I am 46.
Oh, okay. You're only 8 years older than me.
I got my first gray hair at 17.
Yep.
I was ready to. That really sucks.
I was
They
going
made
bald
Sharpies
at
back
20.
then?
I was going bald at 22.
Yeah, I started going. That's about that's when it started receding. I have a brother who's 9 years younger than me, and I had more hair than him since he was in high school.
Back here. That's where it started going. Right back here.
Hey, at least y'all not pulling a LeBron. At least y'all not putting any kind of stuff on y'all head that people got to point
That
out.
was the greatest thing when Anthony Davis went, hey, dude, your hair. I thought that was one of the greatest moments. Everybody's like, he's not bald. Oh, hell yeah, he is.
Oh, he's bald.
Why on earth would you not shave that shit off your head? I
He's got
don't
a
get
bad
it.
head.
He can't have that
No.
bad of a noggin to
Dude,
not
some-
shave
some-
off his head.
Sometimes when you shave your head is not meant to be shaved all the way. Maybe he tried it at one time and he said, oh shit, I can't do this. So he went back to doing that.
When you're an NBA player and you're on the basketball court, wearing a hairpiece probably is not the best idea. It's
Right.
because and I am an asshole, if I get the opportunity, I'm going to give that thing a yank. That shit's coming off in the middle of the game. Especially if I got your ass one-on-one in the fourth quarter and I get an opportunity.
It's gonna be John Stockton trying to get that back.
Shoot. Off that shit's going.
He's pulling
See him on a fast break. Instead of reaching for the ball, he reached for the hair.
That's right.
Got it. He's gonna shoot
Go
it.
ahead. I tell you what, you got a choice. You can shoot a free throw or you can put your wig back on. Whichever one you want to do. But you're going to have one of the two options. That shit's coming off. I'm taking my shots. I played basketball in the 80s. We're dirty. We played dirty, and that shit would have happened. Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Mahorn, John Sally, that wig coming off in the fourth quarter.
Sally beat you with his leg.
So he's pulling a Macho Man Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan at WCW when Hogan wore that piece on his head, and all of a sudden he just went. Whoop.
Nope, absolutely. That shit's coming off in the fourth quarter. You wait until the fourth quarter because you don't want him going in at halftime being pissed and coming back to whoop your ass. You do it in the fourth quarter, then he doesn't handle pressure very well. In the first place, he's going to fold like a cheap chair without that wig on his head.
You know who would have done that? Dennis Rodman, without a doubt, would have done it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Crazy
put it on his own head.
Crazy Dennis when he left Detroit. After he left Detroit, that wig was definitely coming off.
I take Dennis Rodman on my team any day of the week. I don't care who the hell you are. You need a badass on your team, and he was a badass.
Bill Laimbeer would have whipped that shit off his head and went around like this, doing the rodeo, all the way down the court. LeBron would have chased his ass all the way to the stands. He wouldn't have caught him either. He'd have ran. He'd have ran up those stairs.
Well,
Bill
Bill
would
would've
have.
been
Bill was
crying.
that dude.
What do you mean chase him? He would have been crying. He'd be like, "Oh, he took me, he touched me. I get a foul."
Yeah, he would have flopped.
He gets 2 points. He gets 2 free throws for the foul and 1 for the wing.
He'd have
So he
pulled
gets 3
forward,
shots.
and LeBron would have flopped backwards.
Yeah, he'd probably tell the ref, "Hey, it's an intentional foul."
Yep.
Intestinal foul.
No, intentional foul.
Intestinal.
Yeah, that was funny. I can't believe that, man. Like, we went with Carlos Boozer too, though. He got caught with like spraying like what's the name on his hair?
Gang.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was like I don't know if it was like spray paint, but like he started sweating and like the black just started coming off.
Yeah, run down his face.
He look at that like,
What the hell?
never. He had his ball foul when he was back in Cleveland. Like, yeah, it's early.
The biggest problem I have with LeBron James and his toupee is he didn't always wear the shit.
Yeah,
One day he's got it, and all of a sudden the very next day his hairline's back here, and then the next day it's here. He's got a straight line going straight across all the way, perfect hairline. 3 days later, he's as bald as me.
Well, the hair plugs fell out. That's all.
yeah, he had waves. You kind of know the earlier career. You know how his head bangs just start from right here, and then it gradually go like higher.
Yeah.
They kind of like losing his hair.
Well, you know,
I
they
saw a
have that
picture. He had the widow peaks, and then like 3 games later, straight line right across.
Well, you know, back then they
Dude,
didn't have.
we got your ass on camera.
Well, the technology for hair plugs wasn't that good until now, so you don't know.
How do you stitch your head under a sewing machine?
You got plenty of those over there.
No, I just got one.
You know, how many does Holly have for those masks? Just one?
One sewing machine.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, God bless her.
She didn't know how to use it. I had to show her how to use it.
Wow.
Oh,
On that note, George, back to you.
Clearly, we know
wait,
who
wait,
wears
wait,
the pants
wait.
in that family.
Wait a minute. I'm getting some through my headphones again. Mike, you're on the couch with George.
The sewing machine.
It was kind of funny when that'll happen. She's like, she goes and gets the sewing machine. She's like, "How do you use this thing?" And I said, "Wait, you've never been to home ec class?"
Yeah.
So of course I sat down and I'm sitting here and I'm putting everything through and I'm going, when the hell did it get 5 dials? I'm like looking at the dials, and of course they've got pictures, so there's no, you can't tell what the pictures are. So I had to look in the book for once. I'm like, oh, this is the tensioner, this is this is that, and then I started playing around.
You
I let her
know
play around for a
way
while.
too much about sewing machines.
Hey, when you get bored and you got nothing else but home ec class,
Dude, I wish I had home ec class.
I took home ec class.
I did in my
you
7th
took
grade.
cooking class. Home ec class is not cooking class.
No, it was home ec. It was cooking, and yes, I know how to sew my own.
Apparently in Vermillion, that's all they wanted to teach you in middle school was you had home ec, art, and wood shop.
He didn't take cooking class because he doesn't know how to cook on a goddamn grill.
An air fryer.
Yeah, I got one of those.
I got one of those.
Yeah.
Yours is still in the box though, Ryan.
No, it's not. George knows I cook my wings in there all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say. He's become abusive with his. Oh yeah.
Yes, I
Big
have.
time.
I actually hit people with it too.
Holly's gotten really good with the sewing machine. She's even stitched her finger.
Ooh.
She come down. That's what I said last week. If you noticed, I was doing with the new skin. She came down. And I go, "What did you do?" I muted the mic. I go, "What did you do?" And she says, "Oh, the needle got me." I said, "What needle?" She said, "The sewing machine." So I was taking the new skin on her finger.
Well, you can't use it now. Might as well use it on her.
Yeah, might as well use it for something.
All right.
But yes, if you guys need masks or know anybody needs masks, look up AEZ Design. We have a bunch of patterns. We do sell them. They are 100% cotton. You can breathe through them. We will mail them out to you if you need to, or we'll stop by and pick them up.
I do need some. These masks they giving us at work suck.
I need some because my dogs stink.
Get your nose out of his ass.
I can't help it. They fart in the middle of the night. I gotta compete with that. They fart. I gotta fart then.
George,
Up the
George,
dog,
I
huh?
don't remember this being on the show sheet.
You've gone way too
It
far.
wasn't on the.
The rundown, George. We're talking about
It was after hair
Fox and
plug.
Spartans.
Hair plug. Oh
it's
wait,
the-
that says guest plugs.
It's
I'm
the
sorry,
after hours.
It's
I thought
yeah,
we were.
it was gas plugs versus hair plugs. I
The age
misread
of
it.
After
My
Dark.
bad.
Hey, like I said, I went to Vermilion and I can't read well, so my fault.
I thought we were. I thought we were in post-show discussion.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're in the after hours. We're in overtime. You know, for those who stay up after 11 o'clock, this is the rated X version of Dueling Aces.
Oh, don't get me
No.
started.
No.
Channel 2, Channel 2, you gotta move the antenna, right?
We haven't gone X.
Yeah.
Suggs
I can go-
hasn't dropped his pants yet. Oh, wait a minute. But Burrich has jumped in a pool almost.
I think you're assuming I'm wearing them.
Right.
I was waiting. He's in the meeting where he stands up. Oh, wait, I forgot the camera's still on.
Oh, that jackass. That news reporter. How are you going to go on TV? You can see yourself in the fucking camera. How are you not going to see you're not wearing pants? See, that's the problem with CNN. Those guys are fucking morons.
Remember, if it's on CNN, it's real.
Fake. If it's on CNN, it's fake.
George,
Like ski resort in Florida.
I think the John's calling me, so I'm gonna get the hell out of here. So
All right, gents. Again, thank you everybody for joining in. Definitely like, share, and post this bad boy because we've had one hell of a good time tonight. And next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. And we will probably touch base on our MLB topics of who could and possibly would come back out of a retirement, as well as any of the current and updated NFL news, plus WWE Money in the Bank post reaction from the pay-per-view that will be on Sunday. Excuse me. So we will catch all of you on the flip side. You guys have a good night and
You
stay
too.
safe. I'm gonna bump everybody out. Bye, Dave.
Hi, George.
Later.
All
Suds.
right, everybody. Appreciate the love. Thank y'all for having me.
You are very welcome, Clint. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Y'all enjoy y'all night. Y'all be safe. I gotta
You
go to
too.
work tomorrow. Unfortunately, my job's
I gotta work.
essential.
Well, just be careful out there, man. We'll catch up with you on Saturday.
Okay, then. All right.
All right, let's see if we can't get these commercials pumped through one more time and make sure that this thing, keeping fingers crossed, works this time. All right, one more time.
Dueling Aces, proud to be a part of Redline Radio. Dueling A- Detroit Auto Parts is a proud sponsor of this station. Save 10% off your order when you mention Redline Radio, serving 2 locations in Cleveland. The East Side, 480 East 200th Street. Phone number is 216-531-7373. And the West Side, 4941 Pearl Road. Phone number 216-398-7373. It is the home of the Detroit Auto Parts Studio. Helping Hands Moving Services. Phone numbers 216-682-6955. Ask for Dave or Jen and mention Redline Radio for 10% off your moving needs. Cater Printing for your custom screen print, embroidery, and promotional item needs. Located at 9925 Royalton Road, Unit D, in North Royalton, Ohio. You can reach Amy at 440-668-1579 or check them out online, caterprinting.com. Make sure that you mention you heard it on Redline Radio. K&M Towing, 13011 Bel Air Road in Cleveland, Ohio. Phone numbers 216-252-2229. Tell James and Tom you heard about them on Redline Radio. Looking for that NASCAR diecast? Pit Road Diecast has a large selection available. Call Bill at 216-355-2347. Mention Redline Radio and get $5 off your purchase. Lubrication Supply, located in Norwalk, Ohio. In the field or on the track, let us put you in the winner's circle. Contact Kevin or Jim at 330-813-2305. Tell them you heard it on Redline Radio. Wiggins Construction and Home Improvement. Bathrooms, kitchens, windows, doors, siding, roofing, and much more. Contact William Wiggins Jr. at 440-731-4654 or send him an email, wwiggins24@gmail.com. Tell him Redline Radio sent you.
And that's it. Unmute. Can't unmute you. There you are.
I no, I muted myself because I was talking to Holly.
All right. Well, that went well. Without the minor glitch in the beginning, I think we'll just kick the publisher off and just stick with the regular Facebook show. That's for sure.
Oh, it's my messenger that's up.
Yeah. I was going to say mine's fine. Yeah.
I'm like sitting here watching and I'm like, you're sitting here typing. I'm like,
No, nice job. Like I said, it went pretty smooth. And for everybody else who's caught up with us, thank you very much for joining us again. And we will catch you all on the flip side. See you later.